What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unscripted Access, episode number 96. You're here with your host, Nick McCandless. On this week's show, we have Bronson Fiore.
It's so hot. So very, very hot.
Anthony Ta.
Hello.
And John, oh man, I'm already going to pronounce it wrong again. How do you pronounce your last name, John?
Macaluso.
Macaluso. Okay, I'll have it down by next week, I promise. John Macaluso.
That's a promise there, Nick.
That is a promise. I promise next week I will have it down without a problem. So, cool. Well, yeah, we're back with another episode of Unscripted Access. Not much going on in the gaming industry. I mean, between E3 just ended up, and we have Gamescom coming up and Tokyo Game Show, so it's going to be kind of quiet until those shows come around. But do you guys imagine that, John, you weren't over here, but Bronson and Anthony, that was almost a month ago that you guys were here for E3. Doesn't even feel that long for you guys?
First off, coming off of E3 has been a real bummer, just going back to my day job and whatnot, but then just does not feel that long ago. It feels like yesterday I was on the floor with Kyrie and Brennan just fucking looking at all these crazy games.
It was only yesterday that I kept... Feels like only yesterday that I was stuck in, the worst traffic jam ever.
Yeah, I felt like you guys had just left. It's kind of crazy. But the reason why I bring that up is Shuhei Yoshida recently was doing an interview and kind of giving his assessment of the Sony press conference, and he came out and he admitted that they spent way too much time on powers. They've been kind of collecting feedback, and I'm sure the number one, the top piece of feedback they got is why they spent so much time on powers. That was the most disappointing part of that entire press conference. It's like the guy came to the stage, and I was like, okay, cool, this powers thing, he'll be on there for 2 minutes. No, this dude was on there for probably 10 to 15 minutes. It was ridiculous.
I just remember giving you this look during that, this is where it becomes the train wreck.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. It was so good up to that point, and then I look over to Nick, and then we just give each other this look this is where they fuck it all up.
Yeah.
They didn't. What happened was that instead of making it look like a nice, cool little extra for PlayStation Plus members, they made it look like a full-out blown feature that they were heavily focusing on instead of other things.
Yeah, actually, powers is something that they would announce on some random day on the PlayStation blog. That's something that, I mean, Sony's announced bigger games randomly on their PlayStation blog. Big games. None come to mind right now, but they've announced some pretty big games just randomly out of nowhere. But they spend time on powers, which, like I said, Shuhei Yoshida, I'm having a bad time with names today, came out and said that they should have cut that down quite a bit.
It's the thing I remember most was that the stuff before the creator of Powers came up there, they dragged it a bit, but it wasn't too bad. It was here's Powers, here's a brief synopsis, here's the offer that we have.
PlayStation TV, that.
PlayStation TV is something they should have announced on the PlayStation blog afterwards. They didn't need time during the conference.
Hey man, we benefit from that. Once again,
but
not many, the big sites don't benefit from it because Sony gives them Vita capture shit. But I don't want to spend $500, $400 on Vita capture shit. So having a $100 thing that plays Vita games, I'll take it.
As I was saying, they introduced Powers a bit. They gave a brief announcement. They talked much about it, and then they brought the guy out who created Powers, and that is when it really dragged on a lot. He just kept talking and talking and talking. And I understand that when you're the creator of your work, you have the opportunity to stand up in front of a potential audience of millions worldwide to talk about your work. You get pretty stoked and you want to tell them as much as you can. But there kind of comes a point when you kind of need to slow down because you know they already know what your work is because they've just been told. And I remember that there were these teleprompters that, all the press conferences have. They have a teleprompter so that way they don't slip up as much. And I remember he got to the point where he needed to say thank you. to the audience and thank people and that kind of stuff. And I looked at the teleprompter, and there was one line that said, "Thank you." And he turned those 2 words into this giant 20-sentence thing of thanking every conceivable person in the universe about it. And I'm like, yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. Yeah, that thank you thing was on him as a speaker, but Sony booked him for that time. So that was that. It's not like you can't really blame him. I mean, yeah, of course he's going to talk about it as much as he can, but if Sony would have only booked him for 5 minutes of the conference, he would have only had 5 minutes. I mean, you saw, on that teleprompter, they had a ton of shit on there. Like, that was absolutely ridiculous to go on about something that a very small percentage of people are actually going to look at. Like, as far as, like, correct me if I'm wrong, as far as time on one product being a game or hardware, I think they spent more time on Powers than any other game they showed during their whole entire press conference.
They gave us like one trailer for Infamous DLC.
Yeah, well, that's what it should be. I mean, the game's already out. DLC shouldn't get that much time, but it's like they had so many other things they could show. Like,
I mean, they could have showed Metal Gear gameplay. I mean, that was shown in that, like, because the only people
that was shown last year at Microsoft's press conference.
Well, yeah, but like the new Metal Gear gameplay was only shown at like you either had to have an appointment with Konami or wait for a week because IGN had the exclusive on that, which that was obnoxious, but okay. Like that's, I mean, like that could have been something. Last of Us could have been something. Rockstar typically doesn't show gameplay for Grand Theft Auto till it's out, so I understood that one. But I mean, like, there's a lot of games that could have got gameplay that didn't. So I'm kind of like, Powers got that. Hell, maybe you guys can work on Vita games finally.
Which, by the way, the first time they said PlayStation Vita, I'm like, oh, finally! Sweet, they finally mentioned the Vita, and then they were like talking about, man, I know that they were really kind of spinning it. I could tell there's like, your response to Vita was overwhelming. And he proceeded to say how Vita has this colossal library of games, even though a lot of it is like PlayStation classics and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah.
No,
which is really weird because
what I love is how they have all like, that screen of all those Vita games, right? And it's like footage from all these games, and I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, that sucks, indie game, that sucks. That's a great game, but it runs poorly on the Vita. That runs poorly on the Vita. That game's 2 years old. That game's 2 years old. That game's a year old. And I'm just like, okay, so basically, other than the new Tales game, you have nothing for this. Like, Tales and indie games.
It doesn't seem like that when you're on the show floor, because they actually had
many Vita games on the show floor.
They had a pretty big Vita demo area, and there was like so many games for the Vita, and I'm just like, man, anybody who's sitting at home right now wouldn't even realize all this stuff for the Vita right now.
Yeah, that's the story of the Vita in general. Like, I own a ton of great Vita games. There's a ton of great indie games for the Vita. But I mean, who plays any of them on the Vita? Guacamelee is perfect for the Vita. Lone Survivor. I know on the last hour of E3, it was kind of just like, everyone do what you want. We're going to check out Sony's booth, Atlus's booth. And Brevin and I went to go to play Atlus's booth because no one was there, and we wanted more matches of Persona Arena because Brevin and I love fighting games, and we're competitive assholes in fighting games. So, we were playing matches of that. And we leave Kyrie with this horror game for the Vita. I'm so mad I'm forgetting its name. But it's only on the Vita. It's a horror indie game. And we leave her there. We come back 35 minutes later, and she's still playing that horror game. And I'm like, man, Sony, you could have promoted that, for your platform, for your system here. Your system that's, out in the wild and has been relegated to indies and Japan. I mean,
yeah. I mean, after the Vita, I honestly don't think we're ever gonna see a portable gaming platform from Microsoft, but they see that's really hard. And Sony, I think Vita's the last one for Sony. I think only company that's going to stick with it's Nintendo.
Well, I've gone over this. It's like Sony just doesn't get the handheld market. They don't understand it. I wrote that when, I remember writing an article when the Vita came out. It's like, yeah, these console experiences are great, but they're not the primary people who buy portable games. Nintendo gets the portable market, and they get how to design games for it. Uncharted.
I feel that
Uncharted Golden Abyss was a wonderful game. It's one of the best games on the Vita. It's a great game, but it's really shitty as a portable game.
I just remember
you can't just stop. Anyway, go ahead.
I remember the three portables I always kind of look at is like there's Nintendo, and we already know what they do, and then there's Nvidia's Project Shield, where they already kind of fully embrace the fact that they're so niche that they're not going to sell in 3DS numbers anyways, but they kind of maintain enthusiasm and say, yeah, it does this, even though it is, if you look at it really crudely, a glorified Android device that had recently just got Portal 1.
Yeah.
And then there's the Vita that's trying to do what Shield is doing, which is we are niche, we're the cool system, we're for grown-ups, we've got power, we've got the cool thing. We are the portable with the power to do all of these cool things. But at the same time, they're trying to talk like it's a huge thing, when really the target audience of the Vita is already kind of narrow in a way.
Well, not only that, but it's just even first off, Vita owners are incredibly happy with the Vita. I think, what was that number we talked about? Over 90% of Vita owners.
Yeah, are very satisfied with the system. That's a very high number for a consumer electronic.
Yeah, John, you own a Vita. Are you satisfied with that product? Was it a good decision to purchase one?
Yeah, I am satisfied with my Vita. I think it's underrated, and the reason for that is people just aren't buying it. And the reason people aren't buying it is because, it lacks games.
My problem right now is I don't even...
Games and marketing.
My problem with the Vita, personally, is what is this thing? Tell me, what is it? It's a portable game console? Okay, we'll be more specific, please, because there's a lot of them.
Well, okay, here's the fucking death spiral with Vita. So, the 3DS is cheap enough to develop for, its graphic power is somewhere in between N64 and GameCube. It's probably, Dreamcast, maybe PS2 area, right? And so, that's where its graphic power is. And so it's cheap to develop for. So, mid-tier teams, small teams, it's a relatively low-risk system to develop for. Right? Vita, is almost PS3, 360, so it's high risk. And those smaller studios and mid-tier studios aren't willing to make a game for a high-risk system, which no games means no people buying the system, which no people buying the system means no one wants to take a risk, and it's this fucking just death spiral of no one making any money off of it except indies, And the thing is Vita owners buy games. That is proven, but there aren't that many of them. If you get a hit on Vita, it'll do really well, considering how small the user base for it is. Problem is that exact thing. Look at what's come to Vita this year. We've got a bunch of games from NIS, in which so far one of them was really great, Danganronpa, and a bunch of indie ports. Have we got even a game from Sony for the Vita this year?
Don't believe so.
I'll look. I know I downloaded Muramasa, but that came out last year. Which, that's another great game, hey, but yeah, Blaze Blue, that's a fighting game port that comes out this week for the Vita. Yeah, man, it's just Final Fantasy X HD. That's not and Soul Sacrifice Delta. Those are both new for that system. Now, granted, you can get Final Fantasy X on the PS3, but portable. And I think one of the real big kick to the nuts for that thing is the Borderlands port was not very good.
Yeah, that's
like
what
that,
I've heard. I've never played it, but
I've heard that they have patched it and made it better, but it's still not ideal. Like, if you've never played Borderlands, then fine. But if you have,
which is amazing. So if you only played on the Vita and you don't like it, please don't judge it off the Vita version only, because Borderlands 2 is amazing.
No, Borderlands 2 is great. I actually just got the PC Game of the Year edition. We should play. Aaron and I want to start fresh characters, so
I'm down.
Yeah, like I'm gonna start a Gunzerker. I think
I run it on maximum on my PC, on my TV. It looks amazing.
So do I. Just crank it all the way up. It's great. What character do you run in Borderlands 2?
Was it Berserker?
Yeah, that's what I run. Also, a Gunzerker. Yeah. So we'll
Gunzerker. That's it.
We'll have 2 Gunzerkers and a 0. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also really like the Siren. John, have you played Borderlands 2?
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it right now on PS3.
Yeah, man, we need to. When Anthony and I build you that rig, we need to get you hopped on that PC version.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah, no, man. So another big piece of news: those Steam sales hit. Anyone buy anything in those?
I have not actually looked. What would you say some of the highlights are?
Well, I bought. So this is what I got. I bought Skyrim for $2.50.
That's crazy. I don't like Skyrim, but for $2.50.
I bought.
Man, I've said this before. I am amazed how. I think everyone that in my friend group, we all agree that Skyrim is overrated. Now, how much we like and hate the game, that's where we disagree on, but we all agree it's overrated and doesn't deserve to be like this next huge thing that swept over the internet and became like the greatest thing ever. Which it isn't.
But we've all bought it twice.
Well,
I bought it once.
Yeah, I bought it twice. I bought the PS3 version, which was a bad idea, and then I bought it for the PC version on a Steam sale, which is a bit of a mistake because I only played it for 4 hours, and that was it.
I have put an hour into it so far, but for $2.50, I was like, why not? And then I got The Witcher 2 for $4 because I want to get ready for The Witcher 3 whenever it comes out. And then I got Borderlands 2 Game of the Year edition for $10.
Wow, $10. That's crazy.
And had I not been strapped for cash at the time, which I still am, I probably would have picked up Sleeping Dogs and a couple other games. I'm also waiting for. So it's not out yet, but they're doing a Saints Row 4 Game of the Year edition. It's gonna be $30 and it's gonna include all the DLC.
That's worth it.
That's worth every penny.
Saints Row 4 sucks.
Saints Row 4 is amazing. You just hate fun and joy.
No, I loved Saints Row 3. I did not like Saints Row 4.
But fucking Saints Row 4 is that much better.
It is not better than Saints Row 3. All right, that is ridiculous.
Hold on. All right, so John, have you played either of the Saints Rows?
Yeah, I played all of them.
Okay, so, all right, so Saints. What's your opinion on Saints Row 4? Because Saints Row 4 was my favorite game last year, and Nick hated it. So, I want to know your opinion on these games.
I don't think you want to know my opinion, Bronson.
Oh my!
I do want. Thank you.
You're bad people.
Please,
you
please
hate
spit
joy.
It out. Please spit it out.
All right.
They're just really, really, really terribly made. I feel like.
Thank you.
Wait, all of them?
Wow.
Or which one?
Every single one.
Well, I don't. I didn't like the first one. The second one was all right. Saints Row 3 was freaking awesome, and then Saints Row 4 just went back down the shitter.
All right, look, no, Saints Row 4. You are the president of the United States. Inside the
John,
Matrix.
let me ask you this: which did you like better, Saints Row 3 or 4?
Saints Row 4.
Better. 3 was better.
Thank you.
You're bad people.
The crowd is silenced.
How can you not like a game where you are the fucking president of the United States in the Matrix with superpowers?
Let me put it
aliens?
this way: lots of games can have cool ideas, but if they're executed poorly, it's still bad.
But they weren't. That was one of the best superhero games ever. Like they made super speed viable. It was super awesome.
I mean, like Crackdown 1 had a freaking awesome, cool idea going for it, but it was executed really mediocre. The execution was really mediocre, so it was just kind of okay.
Saints Row 4 is what Crackdown should have been. Like, that, absolutely. And there was a point in that game, like, just the fucking around in that game is fun. You can fucking wrestle people at super speed while listening to Insane in the Membrane. You fight a Godzilla-sized energy drink monster in that game.
You're outnumbered on this one, Bronson.
You're
agree with you on things. On this, I can't take it.
You know, Bronson, I should borrow Saints Row 4 to see if, you know.
You're bad.
It could backfire on you, though, because I might like it or I might hate it.
That's okay. Well, I don't own that game on anything but my PC. So what I'll do is I plan to buy that Game of the Year edition on PS3. So I will beat it again and then loan it to you. You know. So then I want to hear your opinion on it because fuck, that game was so good. Like just that was happiness on a disc.
It was fucking no. That game was poorly made.
It fucking God.
That's like man. I was actually looking forward to that game. I started playing and I was like, fuck this.
You fight an alien overlord while he sings "You Got What I Need" by Biz Markie.
See that's what I'm talking about. It was too much. Like it got to the point where it was so ridiculous. It was like I don't know. It just wasn't fun.
See, no, for me, like Saints Row 3, I was like, you guys are going the right way with this. And then Saints Row 4, they said, fuck it, we're gonna do everything.
Yeah, so that's what I didn't like. Like Saints Row 3,
Bronson,
I like that it was kind of like Grand Theft Auto style, but it was like brought more comedy. It's a lot more loose, more of a cartoony look. I loved it. I had a blast playing that game. But then it's like Saints Row 4, I was like, okay, they've got their shit together with Saints Row. I'm looking forward to Saints Row 4. I started playing, I'm like, wow, they went way overboard here. It's just like a game of like doing stupid shit. Like the game, I just did not like it. It was a disappointment for me.
Man.
So basically, what I'm getting the impression is that in your case, Nick, they burned up all their humor cards way too fast, and all of a sudden, it wasn't surprising anymore. It was just, they're gonna do something really dumb again.
I think part of the humor in this game is also the fact that I am a big fan of sci-fi and like action movies, I guess, and it parodies a lot of that shit. It parodies Mass Effect super fucking hard, like no doubt, and Metal Gear and a bunch of other shit. And I'm not, if you don't get those jokes, then a lot of that can fly over your head.
Well, it's like there's a difference between a funny joke and a really idiotic, stupid joke. And that game was filled with just stupid things.
It really was.
Like, it's self-aware of its stupidity, though. Like, that's...
Yeah, but just because you admit you're stupid doesn't mean anyone else wants to be around you. Like, that's like some dumbass... Like, let's say, for example, let's integrate our staff into this. Let's say somehow Kyrie's ex-boyfriend, whoever, decides one day that, I'm actually stupid. Doesn't mean you still want to hang around with them.
No, but this is a different case. Like, I thought a lot of the jokes in that game were really good. I enjoyed the Mass Effect, love scene option 1. I enjoyed the alien overlord singing Biz Markie. The Metal Gear jokes were great. Like, there were several Metal Gear jokes during a stealth mission that had me laughing my ass off. There were a lot of really good jokes in that game. Like, there was a lot of really fucking stupid ones, but goddamn. And also, that game was just fun. The mechanics for those superpowers were hella fun.
I disagree there.
Like, when you are at the point in that game where you can just, run up a building, then glide off, and then just, ground slam, that is the most fun I've had with superpowers in a video game. That has with those open world superhero games, Infamous, Prototype, Crackdown, and now that is by far the most fun I've had. The super speed in that game is super satisfying.
But anyways, we're not gonna. We always bring up the Saints Row argument. Bronson and I heavily disagree there.
Well, I disagree with you on Assassin's Creed 3. So, I mean...
Assassin's Creed 3 wasn't the best, but I enjoyed it.
It was not better than Sleeping Dogs or Mass Effect 3. That's...
Well, at least Bronson, at least Aaron is not here to defend it.
Yeah, like, Aaron defended...
I mean, at the end of the day, he basically said Assassin's Creed because of the bargaining thing. Problem. Yes. Ultimately, that's what it came down to, but really, we're just all still butthurt by the fact that I'm like, as much as I complained about Mass Effect 3, I actually still liked it. Okay? Unlike Assassin's Creed 3, which I didn't like because it was a giant mountain of wasted potential.
You know what was better than both of those games? Sleeping Dogs.
Which I didn't play, so I have no opinion.
That if you are willing, if you got your 360, I'll let you use my Xbox Live account to play it.
Maybe.
But oh man, like one thing about having Aaron in the Game of the Year awards is like he has just like you can kind of see where people's taste trend, and then Aaron's was always just the way farthest out there. So like he always really throws a wrench into the awards, which John, if you stick around and you're here for Game of the Year awards, you get to see what a monkey knife fight it is. And like he's the reason you get Devil May Cry on a fucking top 10 list. Okay? That's
that
how that
was
happens.
Awful. Before and yet Tomb Raider and freaking BioShock Infinite didn't make it. Get the hell out of here.
Well, no, I get why like first off, I think Tomb Raider is better than BioShock.
Oh, I agree.
I know why BioShock doesn't make a top 10 list because it's a corridor shooter, and it's a corridor shooter with just a really good presentation and story. Like the actual gameplay in BioShock is stupid easy and really not that compelling. But the
Tomb Raider was amazing though.
Tomb Raider was great all the way around. Like it had a weak supporting cast, but everything else about that game was fucking awesome. No, I
can't wait for the new one.
Like when I look at that top 10 list last year, I think like the only game that doesn't belong is Devil May Cry. That's the only one where I go like, yeah, that game wasn't that great. Yeah, but I don't know. Do we have any other news stories besides?
Yeah. So we were talking about the Vita. So I don't know if you guys have noticed this. It's kind of awkward. I don't know what's going on, but it seems it's almost impossible to get a Vita. If you go to Amazon, you go to Best Buy, Walmart, Target, none of them have Vitas in stock, which means one or two things. Bad case scenario, they're like, well, we're not selling Vitas, so we're going to stop stocking them, which could be pretty much the ending dagger for the Vita, because if you have to go through multiple steps to get a Vita, it's just, if you can't just go run to the store and pick up a Vita, that's the platform's just going to die right now. Or Sony somehow is maybe they're manipulating their quantity to make it seem like they're selling them, but they're just producing less of them. And it's not like they're coming out with a new model, because they just released a new model with the Borderlands 2 bundle. And I know that bundle sold well initially, but I don't think nothing really has been done for the Vita to make it sell like crazy out of nowhere recently. Because it's literally sold out everywhere.
I mean, like maybe just a lot of people are digging that remote play feature. I know when we were playing Killzone this weekend.
It is cool, and I use it all the time. But it's like sometimes I'm at my girlfriend's house and I freaking play my PlayStation 4 games, and it's freaking crazy because it's like I'm 60 miles away and I'm still playing my games. It's freaking awesome. But it's like it's had remote play since day one with the PlayStation 4. Like, yes, I understand they're selling more and more PlayStation 4s, but it doesn't go from like a million Vitas being on the shelf to literally in little to no time they're like impossible to find.
That's where we're like, man, that's really weird to me then, because maybe the remote play just took some time for people to start getting into that. Maybe because
but even then, that's a gradual change, though. That's not something that, unless in which they didn't. I mean, it'd be different if Sony freaking launched this big marketing campaign where it was on freaking Oprah and Ellen and Tonight Show and Jimmy Fallon and all within like a week's period. Yeah, I could see it selling out, but It didn't do that.
I
So
mean,
it's like, what caused this?
yeah, like what? Because
I'll be curious to see the MPD numbers because if there's not much of an increase, Sony's trying to manipulate things. Or, like I said, if all the retailers are pulling out on this device, that's bad.
I mean,
at that point, if you're a developer, you pretty much might just want to just stop.
I mean, the only people who already developed for that thing are Japanese developers and indies anyway. I mean, because I follow the Vita pretty heavily. Like because I really love the platform. I love playing games on it.
The only thing I use it for is remote play. Like that's how I look at it. I look at my Vita as an accessory. I don't play the only games I play on it are PlayStation 4 games.
Like I play indie games on it mainly, and the occasional Japanese game, and I look at that and I'm like, well, maybe they're going to turn this into a digital-only device. Because, I worked at GameStop, and what we put on the shelves is whatever, companies buy, and whatever is selling. So, like, when you go into a GameStop and you notice the Vita section is like this itty-bitty wall, it's because the games aren't selling. Like, that's the same reason
because for Vita, that makes sense, though, because it's a portable platform. It's like, why would you want to have to worry about carrying around these freaking cards? It's just like, look at the iPhone. Like, imagine with the iPhone, if you wanted to, like, launch a game on your iPhone, you need to put some card in there. That's, like, ridiculous. So, of course, yeah, for a portable platform, absolutely. But now, even now, with the consoles, like, my PlayStation 4, I'm debating whether I want to keep buying discs because it always gets to that point to where it's like, it's just the convenience of not having to swap out discs. Yeah, it doesn't take much time. It's just the convenience of, for example, remote play. Like, that's where it really comes in because I have to kind of think. I'm like, what games do I really want to play? Because if I'm going to my girlfriend's for a week, then it's not like I can change the discs remotely. That would be awesome. It's like they put like a disc changer in there. We could keep 5 games in there.
Do you remember
six CD in-dash disc changer? Those were a cool thing in cars back in the day.
My car my Mustang has that. I can keep 5 CDs in my car.
We used to have one of those at the house.
But I don't who uses freaking CDs anymore?
Actually, I do because I always keep forgetting to put a playlist on my phone. But okay, who uses CDs? I use CDs because I can't put a playlist on my phone, because even if I do put a playlist on my phone, that means that if I want to change the song to a specific song instead of it playing it in order, I have to look down on my phone, which is going to be the same as me texting while I'm driving, which means I'm going to get pulled over. And my car isn't like one of those fancy new cars with those infotainment systems where you can just USB connect your iPod or iPhone or Android into the dash and yeah, it doesn't have that fancy USB plug-in where you can just use Sync. Yeah, and you're lucky to have Ford Sync, whereas my car just has a basic audio system with an audio in, but the audio in is only good if you have someone in passenger seat to change the song for you. So
the best creation
CDs still have a use-ish, you just can't put much on that CD.
Yeah, the best creation to ever come to music is freaking Spotify. It's like, I don't know what I'd ever do without Spotify. Like, yeah, Pandora Radio and app was iTunes Radio. Yeah, I use those every now and then when I just want to hear different music. But with Spotify, it's awesome. I pay $10 a month. I can download as many songs as I want to. The radio functionality isn't too good on it, but I can really download as many albums as I want to, as many songs as I want to, have them on my device, set up my own playlists. Like, that's my music collection. Like, I don't buy songs. And I'm doing everything legal. It's all through Spotify. I'm paying my $10 a month. I can download whatever song I want to. Like, any artist or song you could think of is on Spotify. It's awesome.
So for me, in my case, like, I just don't buy music unless I just love that band. Like, I will buy a Proto Men album. I will buy the complete collection of the Beatles. Otherwise, I just go on YouTube or I go on, like you said, Spotify or Xbox Music. And I actually want to talk about that with the new consoles real quick.
Well, really quick, before you get there, let me just finish my point what I was saying before. But it's like, yeah, for like my future PlayStation 4 games, I'm just debating just download them off the PlayStation Store rather than buying them. And the reason for that is just because, for example, the convenience of not swapping disc, it only takes a couple seconds if you're there. But if I'm not home, And okay, let's say I have Madden in my console. Well, now I want to play Infamous. Well, I can't do that because I only have them on disc. Whereas if I had them downloaded on my console, I could.
Like, I feel as though Microsoft's actually done a better job of prompting me to go digital, just because the game that I got with my system was digital. The other games that I have are all digital. Like, I don't own a physical Xbox One game yet. I own 3 physical PS4 games, and I own 2 physical Wii U games. And, like, Sony, I can go either way. Same with Microsoft. Nintendo's the only one I want hard copy of for some reason, and I don't know why.
What's funny is... Well, that's probably because Nintendo's still kind of behind the times in some ways.
Yeah,
so they're a little more old-fashioned, I guess, in some ways. So, what's funny is that as far as digital copies go, it's like my 3DS. Oh, I'll buy nothing but hard copies. But then with my Wii U, it's like, man, I wish I could buy every game digital, but it has no storage.
That's like the opposite of what you'd think it'd be, though.
Like it makes sense on the 3DS.
Why would you want to buy them physical on your 3DS if you can download them, though?
Yeah, if you can download them, that means you don't have to like get into your backpack and pull out all your cartridges and swap them. You just load them straight off the system itself.
Because these devices you usually like carry in your pocket or whatever. It's like then you have to worry about carrying the games.
I mean, like I told you guys how I lost my copy of Mario Kart, right? Like I was on that Memorial Day weekend thing, and it fell out of my fucking back pocket at the restaurant, and I had to pay for it.
Yeah. See, that's the other thing. You could lose the games, or they could get damaged. Whereas if you download them, you've got it for life. You don't have to worry about it. You can always sign into your account. That digital copy can't be destroyed. So.
I mean,
it's like, I'm really debating. Like, I used to be that guy. I was like, I'll never pay $60 for a game that's digital. But now it's like it's getting to that point where I may actually do it. For me,
it just depends on the game, I guess. Also, like Xbox One, I'll probably get Sunset Overdrive digital. I'll probably the only one I really want to buy hard copy for Xbox One is the Halo collection. That's the only one I really want to buy hard
something
copy.
Like that I can understand. Yeah, something like that definitely.
Like same thing with say like I'm like, well, Drive Club, I might as well upgrade for free because it's download already, and then I'm like looking at other stuff for some. I'm like, Little Big Planet already, and just like the only thing that's holding me back is I don't want to pay to upgrade my hard drive. And that.
Well, yeah, I the day I got my PlayStation 4, I upgraded the hard drive. I never launched this thing with that. I changed it. I got a terabyte, and no pun intended, they did sponsor us for E3, but I have a Seagate drive, and it's a terabyte. It's what they call their it's the Momentous XT, so it's like their hybrid drive where it's got like I can't. A certain amount of gigabytes of flash memory, and then
it's a hybrid hard drive.
Yeah, it's a hybrid hard drive in there. So I have a terabyte in there. So I have
see the reason why. See, I would buy a PlayStation. Yeah, if I buy a PS4, I'm not gonna put like a 2. I'm gonna put like a 2 terabyte laptop hard drive in there if they're even out at the time, because having upgraded the hard drive in my PS3, it sucks because yes, I was able to transfer all of my saves. But the thing is that to back up your saves, you either had to like move them all individually, because the backup feature on the PS3 literally backs up everything, including game installs, and nobody has a big enough portable hard drive that can do that. And if they do, it usually has a lot of important stuff they can't erase. So what you do is you end up like deleting everything, or something like that, because you want to move all over your accounts and all of your profiles and that kind of stuff too. So that was a giant pain, having to delete every single game install. Then comes the process of moving the saves over, which thankfully worked out fine, but then I had to reinstall every single conceivable update, which if I had PlayStation Plus, no big deal, because I would just leave it off, and it would just do it itself. But nah, I had to like sit around and wait like 2 hours for Gran Turismo 5 to patch itself all the way, and then wait another hour or two for it to install. So it was really, really, really tedious upgrading the hard drive. And if you bought a brand new PS3, well, easy. You just say transfer, and
that's
do
why
it for
I wish
you.
They would do what Apple does. Like, have you guys ever like restored your iPhone?
Yeah, no,
iCloud?
you just sync all your shit. Not even iCloud, just like to my computer. Like, I don't know why I can't just fucking, like go, hey, you're both on the network. Back up all this shit to my laptop and then download it later. Like,
like iCloud, like what it does is because they only give you so much space. So what they do is, I pay like an extra like $10 or $15 or maybe $20 a year for like an extra additional like 10 gigabytes of iCloud space. But it's like I have a 64 gigabyte iPhone, and I fill it up almost. I only have like 4 gigabytes free on this thing.
I have a 16 gig, and I have like 2 left, and then I remember going from the 4S to the 5S, and like I just loved how it was like contacts over, pictures gradually over, just all the shit.
Yeah, and well, that's the thing. Like with apps, for example, they don't back the apps up; they just start downloading again. Like, why can't they do that with the consoles? Like, if it shows that you've played freaking Infamous Second Son, you still need a disc anyway. So just restore it, and then restore everything that's simple, like the game saves, everything that doesn't take as much time, and then gradually download the game saves and the installs and the patches over time.
Actually, that's a bit of a problem because I would have game saves from games I borrowed a long time ago, so it would need to find a way to figure out which games you actually still... Like, it has to keep a record on the state of your old PS3 hard drive, so it knows what to put.
It would do what the iPhone does, where if you delete an app or delete a contact, it automatically syncs. So if you delete a game save or delete an install, when it restores, it's not gonna restore that. Like, it's that simple. Like, I don't understand why they make the process. Like, yeah, you aren't necessarily changing out your hard drive all the time, but if your hard drive fails or you do decide to upgrade, like, it's just a pain. So yeah, that's the only thing that kind of keeps me away from going digital. It's like I don't even have that much stuff on my hard drive, but I have like every PlayStation Plus game that's come out for PlayStation 4. I've downloaded that, and then I have installs for like maybe 10, 15 games, and it's like I only have like 200 gigabytes left on my... Well, no, I have more than 200 gigabytes. I have like 300, 400 gigabytes left on my terabyte drive. So it's like, if I start downloading all these games... Now, granted, I'm not gonna be in the process of playing 10, 15 games at the same time, but hard drive is gonna fill up really, really fast. So that's my only thing that kind of has me keeping away from digital. But there's definitely
the thing
advantages.
Is that the concern I see is that the PS4 and the Xbox One, I think they use like laptop hard drives. So
yeah,
they're pretty small. And the thing is that laptop hard drives haven't... The biggest normal hard drive capacity you can get for a laptop is 1 terabyte.
No, there's 2 terabytes out there.
Okay, so maybe there are 2 terabytes, but that's new recently.
Yeah.
So it kind of concerns me. It's like, gee, these hard drives aren't exactly very big physically, which means that they can't really exactly put too many bytes into there. So it kind of concerns me, and these things are going to fill up way too fast. Especially considering that everything these days is a mandatory install.
Yeah, the one thing I really wish that they would do, which this would be perfect, like if Sony or freaking Microsoft did this, like... It would just be odd. Well, more of Sony just because of remote play features. Like, I know, like, this was back when the PlayStation 3 days, this was rumored, and even with Xbox One, it was rumored that the games were going to be somewhat registered to your console. I think it would be cool if they kind of used that in a way where, like, for example, I put Infamous Second Son. I just bought Infamous Second Son, put the game in my console. I can launch the game without having the disc in there. But because that disc is registered to my console, if anyone tries to play the game, like if, let's say, I install it on my console or whatever, and then I go like trade the disc in or whatever, the disc wouldn't work. Like, it'd be something where I'd have to uninstall it off my console. Like,
here's what it would do. Like, it's a smarter way. So okay, you trade it in. And then, like, when a new person's system says, like, this is already registered in your account, do you want to unregister it from that account and put it on your account? Yes.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, like, that's all.
That would be awesome, because then it's like, I could still get the digital versions, the retail versions, but I don't have to necessarily have them in my console either, so I could swap between games via remote play if I'm across the country if I want to. I think that would be great. I really do, but I don't think we're gonna see that because I don't think they have the technology. Because the discs actually have to. Well, yeah, the discs have to have like a special identifier or be unique in a way, which I don't know if they've done that.
That would be very, very difficult because that means that every disc printed has to be unique, which would be a nightmare at the factory, I imagine.
That's true, but
It's
they're
not
planning on
like
doing it with the Xbox One, so
they thought about doing it,
hard.
but at the same time, they also changed their minds on everything. So I was like, how much of this was actually going to happen?
Well, that
how
was
much of this was actually
consumer feedback, though. I honestly don't think it would be that difficult.
Like
I
again,
really don't.
It's like when you're printing CDs, you're talking about printing hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of discs a day or something like that. And if you have to like make each disc unique by changing a few bits on it, that could. I mean, I'm not familiar with how discs are printed. Maybe it is already possible. So
yeah, I'm sure. I know it's possible. I don't think it'd be that hard. But if it is hard, a lot of these games they come with like 7-day PS Plus trials or whatever. Require obviously they can't do this now because it's too late. Well, I guess they could, but have like serial keys for them. Like now people are like, well, that's like a PC, but it's like
man.
The problem with the serial key is then you have keygen stuff happening.
Oh man,
that's true.
Yeah, Anthony and I've been PC gamers for a long fucking time. Like, I started PC gaming when I was like 12. So, and I think about it and I'm like, well, I remember having you could install games on multiple machines, but then you needed the disc in them because otherwise, it's like, oh, you'll just fucking keygen this one. You'll just put a key in this one game and then use it for another and another and another. And then, you do get, okay, so I figured out how to get those games to run without a disc, but because we had the same, serial key, we could not join the same multiplayer match. Because the game would be like, what the fuck? This is the same game. And then boot one of us off. So that's how that happened.
Yeah, just like I said, the serial key thing probably wouldn't work. But I don't think that changing just a little bit of data on each disc, I don't think that'd be too much of a problem. I think it's probably something we're not going to see. I think that would be something that'd be extremely convenient.
Yeah, changing that little bit, I'm not sure if it is practical or not. Because, when they print CDs, they print them all kind of the same. Or maybe, actually, they don't.
Hey, guys.
They don't print... Actually, you know what? I think, it already kind of exists because I kind of remember, it's like, if every CD came with a CD key back in the 2000s and they were doing that with every single disc, yeah it's possible, actually. I mean, I was putting CD codes in for games from 2000, so it must be possible for them to, print unique CDs, I think.
So not including expansion packs to Blizzard games, or Blizzard games in general, what was the last PC hard copy game you bought?
Final Fantasy XIV. I actually went to a Best Buy and bought the hard copy of Final Fantasy XIV and installed it.
And it's not like a collector's edition, but it's like a regular
Final Fantasy XIV CD. And I freaking
why? That's what I want to know. Why?
I don't know. I think it's because I tried to buy it digitally, but the Square Enix store was just being a little too convoluted. That I'm like,
what?
I
remember you telling me that.
It was like. I could have, it's not like with Battle.net where they make it really easy. With Blizzard, it was like, wait, am I going through the right place? Is this the right place? Are you sure that... Nah, you know what? It's just easier for me to drive to Best Buy. And I was being really dumb about Best Buy, too, because the first Best Buy I went to, they ran out of copies because I got the entire video games department to go on a manhunt on this CD. And I couldn't find it. So, and then they had to check with the cashier, and the cashier said, yeah, I sold 4 of them today, so they're probably gone. Then I drove to another Best Buy, and I went through all that effort just to get a freaking hard copy of Final Fantasy XIV, only to come home and find out that all the servers were overloaded because it was unexpectedly popular, and yeah. But yeah, the Square...
all thanks to Steam.
No, the game didn't come on Steam until later.
Oh, I nearly bought that.
This is when it first came out.
Yeah, when I said all thanks to Steam, I meant why people don't buy PC games in stores anymore.
Well, I did because the Square Enix store was just really just looked convoluted. I'm like, you know what? It's just easier if I get a CD and just put a code in.
I mean, shit. Sometimes I wish PlayStation PlayStation does and Xbox do their little sales, but they don't even come close to what Steam does. Like they just have ridiculous deals. Like you said, Bronson, Skyrim for $250, Borderlands 2 Game of the Year edition for $10. Like you don't get
got
those kind
the
of
latest
deals.
expansion.
Now, fair enough. With PlayStation Plus, you get a shit ton of games for free. So I will give them that.
Free in quotes.
Well, yeah.
It's really just a game rental service. Like as long as you pay the subscription, you keep it. Until you stop paying, then you can't play it anymore.
Same thing with games with
Gold. That, you can pretty much keep out as many games as you want, though. Like a rental service.
But it's still you can't play it if you're not paying. So it's still kind of like a rental service. It's literally a rental service. They just call it free, just to kind of they're just kind of spinning it around a little bit. But really, it's just like a rental service, which is fine.
Well,
there's nothing really wrong with it.
For $50 a year, it's a hell of a deal. I'll say
it is a really good deal, but it is.
I feel as though my PlayStation Plus subscription this year has been completely valid just because of Resogun. Like, that game was so good, the fact that I got it for free, and I'm continuing to get other awesome games for free.
Well, yeah, see, that's what's really cool about PlayStation Plus. Like, people look at it like, yeah, free games, or like Anthony said, quote-unquote, but the thing is I would have never, ever, ever played Contrast. Never would have played Contrast. And I played that game and I beat it, and it wasn't the best game in the world, but I really enjoyed that game. Like I think game was like a solid 8. I really, really liked that game, and I would have never ever played it because here's the thing with PlayStation Plus: it's free, so it doesn't hurt to try it. So you end up trying all these games that you would have never played anyways, and you never know. Like that game could come around that you would have never played, and next thing you know, it's your game of the year. Like you never know.
Yeah, like that's one of the reasons why I try and branch out a lot. But like now, games with gold on Xbox One's the same way. Like, yeah, you get to keep the 360
Have they announced?
games.
Have they? I know for PlayStation 4 this month is going to be. Well, actually, those games should be available now, aren't they?
Yeah, it's Strider.
Strider, and what's the other one?
Towerfall Ascension, which
that game's awesome, by the way.
Towerfall. If you can play Towerfall with friends, it's the bomb.
Towerfall's awesome. That's the game that it was exclusive on the Ouya. Which the game was so addicting, and I actually met the developer. He's one guy, and he literally just had friends help him build some assets, but he built the game by himself. I'm sure he's made a ton of money off of it. But he made it exclusive for the Ouya, and it's this awesome game, and every time someone talks about the Ouya, the only game they bring up would be Towerfall, and now it's available on the PlayStation 4. That game is so good. But the only thing with that game is you have to have people local because there's not online multiplayer.
Well,
I spoke to the guy about that. I'm like, are you ever gonna add that? And he said probably not, just from the standpoint of wanting to keep that local experience, which I agree. But for a game like that, though, I still think you should add online multiplayer because when you don't have people over, you're pretty much saying, well, if you don't have people over, you can't play the game.
Well, so the Xbox One game this month is
Isn't it supposed to be 2 games?
It's Guacamelee and I forgot the other one. But yeah, Guacamelee is one of them, and then I forgot the other.
Another Xbox One, Max Curse of Brotherhood. That game, I love that game. That game is a lot of fun. And the other game, I would have never played if I didn't get it for free.
I'm very glad I did. And also, it stops you from paying for games that are terrible, like Halo Spartan Assault.
Oh, that game was trash.
That game was really bad. John, you are very quiet.
Was that an iOS game turned into a console game?
Okay, so it was a Surface game turned into a Xbox One game for the launch, and then
so that they could have a Halo, quote-unquote, at launch.
Oh, man. And they wanted Halo 5 out this year so bad. They wanted to launch the collection with that. Yeah, you can buy them separately or you can buy them both in a special weird bundle. But whatever. The collection... Halo 2 Anniversary is more than enough for me. That's all I gotta say. But the
Freaking, I cannot. Sunset Overdrive, I'm sorry, but Sunset Overdrive, like, that was a game like, when Insomniac announced it last year, I was like, okay. Insomniac's really going downhill. They had Fuse, then this. Like, this is just not going to be good. And they showed gameplay slightly before E3, and I'm like, this looks really good. And they showed during E3, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I fucking want Sunset Overdrive so bad. Game looks so awesome.
Okay, so this is what you're getting this month for Xbox Live. You're getting Battle Block Theater and Gotham City Imposters for the Xbox 360, and for the Xbox One, Max the Curse of Brotherhood is staying an additional month, and you're getting Guacamelee, the special edition one.
Gotcha, yeah. So they're doing, pretty much what PlayStation was doing before, where they kept Resoguns free for freaking ever, and they'd add like one additional game a month. But now Sony's committed to at least 2 brand new games every single month for every single platform.
Hey man, there is nothing wrong with more people playing Resogun.
Oh, absolutely not.
The Church of Resogun needs more
I just want to know what type of deal the developers had with freaking Sony, because they weren't selling any copies of that game.
I actually got to like meet those dudes at E3 too. Like I remember walking by them, like, oh, nice shirt, I love that game.
That's what I'm really curious about. I wonder how they cut these deals with these companies, because doing it for a month is one thing, but like Resogun, where that game launched, and the day that game... And that's another thing. Also doing it after the game's been out for a few months, where most people aren't downloading or buying it anymore, that's another thing as well. But Resogun launched as free, and very recently, that game was free on every single PlayStation 4. So, yes, if you get a PlayStation 4 now, then you have to buy it, or if you were smart and had a PlayStation 3, you would just not download it, but add it to your account so that when you got your PlayStation 4, you could download it. But it's like, that's a game that company did not really sell any copies because it's free. So obviously Sony probably sent them a pretty fat check every month.
I believe Sony owns House Marquee, which is the developer of that. So.
Oh, okay, that's true, yeah. If they own them, yeah. Which that explains why a lot of the time when Sony releases, like, I guarantee you, like, the first, like, 'cause to this date, there hasn't been a free PlayStation 4 game through Plus that's a, like, actual retail game. They're all, like, mainly indie or downloadable titles. I guarantee the first game is definitely going to be a Sony title. It's going to be Knack. I can just tell Knack, it's going to be Knack. I have this feeling, it's like, what other game could it be? Like, I'm not even counting, like, Drive Club, that's already announced. But that's not like the full game though. That's like a PlayStation Plus edition. So that doesn't really count. Pretty much it's like an extended demo. Like, think of it as like Gran Turismo 5 Prologue. That's what it is. Pretty much like Drive Club Prologue. That's pretty much what it is.
I mean, yeah, like I think Knack it'll be Knack or Killzone. Like that's my take.
I don't think they'll do Killzone. I think they'll do Knack.
I think the second those Destiny servers start to kill off Killzone's community, I can see Killzone.
That's true. Or they'll do what Sony's done before with like Uncharted, where they'll release just the online multiplayer for free.
That could happen. Like,
and they did that. They did that one weekend not too long ago. I was like, you could play Killzone Shadowfall online for free, even if you didn't have the game. I could see that. I don't think they'll release the whole entire Killzone game, but I could definitely see them doing like the online portion of that for sure.
Yeah, like no doubt there.
You know, one game I'd really like to see come to PlayStation 4. Like, I actually played recently. Once again, I would never bought it, but I played it because it was free through PlayStation Plus. So, Mod Nation Racers is a lot of fun, but freaking Little Big Planet karting, that game was so...
That game was solid.
That game was awesome. Like, yeah, it's not Mario Kart, but it's a nice little, like, kind of like it. It's really, and the creative levels are really cool. Like, I don't think the game sold well, though, which is the only thing. I don't think we're going to really see that come back,
this goes back to Sony, at least on PS3 and Vita, releasing games at the worst possible time. It's like, man, Halo 3 is coming out, or Halo 4 is coming out today. You want to be great? Put that Little Big Planet karting game out today. That seems like a good decision.
Like, Mod Nation Racers was like such a good idea. They just didn't execute well.
The problem with Mod Nation Racers is it took 3 minutes to load a track.
Well, that's true,
and,
too.
Like, it just had a shit ton of technical problems. Like, and also the AI was bullshit cheap.
Oh yeah, that AI was terrible. But Little Big Planet Cardi and I played that, and that game's really addicting. Like when you're playing with other people, the game's really really fun. So I want to, because I'm a big fan of Mario Kart, and I don't have a Wii U yet, and I might cave in one of these days and get one.
Dude, we just did 60. First off, man, you want to see people turn into savages real quick? We did 60-minute access of Mario Kart, and the only person on that video that is not just the biggest savage in the world is Tori. Like, everyone else just fucking goes native, especially John and I. John and I just turn into the worst human beings ever.
But I would like to see...
I can't really help that. It's competition.
Man, the freaking Chargers Broncos argument you guys had, like me and Tori were just sitting there just amazed. I mean, I'm pretty sure it happens on the internet.
What was the argument?
The argument was basically, well, because obviously the Chargers and the Broncos are in the same division in the NFL. Right. So it's only natural that they trash talk on each other. Like, I know this stuff happens on the internet all the time, but to experience it in person was like, wow, this is amazing. And at the same time, like, how do these guys keep going?
Yeah. I'm so ready for the NFL season to start.
I know. No. Why is it
taking way too long?
Bronson and I am really counting down the days.
There is the player I'm really looking forward to seeing. I think he's going to be a complete bust because all he does is freaking party and get on TMZ as much as he can. As I'm really curious to see how Johnny Manziel does.
He's already doomed to failure because he's on the Browns.
Well, and he's playing in my division too. So the thing is, Johnny Manziel, I'll give it to him. He made everyone look bad in college. But here's the thing. There's a big difference between college and NFL. What that kid was doing in college will get him freaking crushed in the NFL. Like, the NFL, like, the defense is completely different. Like, you can't go running around. Like, yes, like, that's the new quarterback. Like, Colin Kaepernick, Russell Wilson, like, the
yeah, but RG3 busted his knee doing that, didn't he?
Yeah. Like, Johnny Manziel, he's just out partying all the time. It's like I hear more about Johnny Manziel freaking at the club drinking alcohol than I do about him at training camp. Like, crazy. But he'll be an interesting guy to watch. I mean, they definitely will have him selling tickets, that's for sure, because who wanted to go to a Browns game before Johnny Manziel's part of the team? So
I have sent people several hilarious videos about the Cleveland Browns.
But I'm really confident in the Steelers this year. I mean, we haven't made the playoffs the past 2 years, which this past year was beyond that. Was us seriously just wanted to freaking destroy and wreak havoc because of bullshit on that field goal. But they freaking clear-ass penalty there.
See, the Steelers is why I say this is why you don't give up on your favorite team sometimes. Yeah. Because it's like they started out really badly, but look at it. They almost made it.
Like, it's just, we have, our freaking run game is going to be unbelievable, because we get Blunt from the freaking Patriots, who's good. We have Le'Veon Bell, who had an incredible rookie season. We drafted this super fast guy in the draft, not forgetting his name right now, but he was the fastest player in the entire NFL draft. We got him. Got freaking Shazier. We're freaking making our defense so much younger, which is what we need to do. Freaking, as long as we stay healthy, I think we're going to have a really good season. I think we'll definitely get in the playoffs. So,
John, as you were trying to say, also, John, don't be afraid to interrupt people here. We do it all the time.
I was going to say, there's a couple of things. Johnny Manziel is only going to be a successful quarterback if Josh Gordon lays off the pipe. That's one thing.
That's true.
The other is... yeah, I mean,
without Josh Gordon, who does he throw to?
Yeah, exactly. The Steelers should have a pretty solid season. I mean, they're gonna lose to the Chargers and Broncos if they play them, but
I don't know about the Chargers, man. Your guys' defense is terrible.
Is the word you're looking for?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry.
I sense trash talk happening.
I'm sorry, but you're. I mean, Steelers, their defense, they've been trying to reform over the past couple of years. But the Chargers last year were just garbage. Like, the type of passes that were thrown on you guys, I'm like, where are you guys freaking corners at? Well, we'll see. I don't think we play you guys this season though. I don't.
No,
think
I
so.
don't think so either.
You guys, we definitely don't because I looked at the schedule. I was like, please play the Chargers. Please play the Chargers because I live in LA. So if they would have played the Chargers, I'd have gotten my ass tickets. But unfortunately, no Steelers games for me this season.
Well, I mean,
at least done plans. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll make something happen. I don't know.
Well, one thing I can say is I've been to Chargers games like as an opposing fan, and that stadium is tame as shit. John, why is it that like that stadium does not rock like?
Because they're not used to winning. I mean, come on.
For some reason, and I guess this is what Nick pretty much has said. No one buys tickets, and it's because they've been on this huge binge of not winning. But we'll have to see because the team's just getting better and better. We've got
you guys have a good offense, that's for sure. But your defense is just pretty ugly. We'll see what happens this season though. Defense is everything. The Seahawks proved that. It's all about the defense. Broncos,
Actually, maybe that game wasn't exactly a good indicator because the Broncos weren't exactly
showing up.
Well, well, that was Broncos. I mean, when the first hike of the game's a safety, I mean, come on now.
I know, that's like the Broncos was
the Broncos are definitely, last year, they were definitely not the second best team in the NFL. The 49ers were a lot better team than the Broncos. Regardless of what Bronson says, I know he's a fan. The 49ers, you seriously think the Broncos had a better team than the 49ers last season? You are fucking crazy. You are fucking crazy.
I watched every Denver game last year.
My gosh.
All four of their losses, they beat themselves more than the other team did.
We are not going to get into this right now. This is a gaming podcast.
Okay.
But get the fuck out of here. The 49ers had a much better team than the freaking Broncos. I mean, freaking Seahawks and 49ers, they should have just fucking played again. That would have been a more entertaining Super Bowl. Come on. But anyways.
Also,
I just want to say the last time the Seahawks went to the Super Bowl, the Steelers beat them. Just want to point that out. But
that wasn't the same Seahawks though.
That was not the same Seahawks, and there were some questionable calls in that game.
There was questionable calls on both ends though. Not just people always say, the questionable calls. That's why the Steelers won. Well, those questionable calls against the Steelers too.
Nick, I have friends from Seattle. Do not ever say that shit in Seattle. You will fucking get killed. Okay, I have been in that stadium as an opposing fan, and just shut up and watch the game. That's all you gotta do. Do not pick fight. I am legitimately more afraid to be loud at the Seahawks stadium for the opposing team than I am in Oakland.
I don't know about that, dude.
No,
Oakland is fucking ruthless.
I've been to Raiders games wearing a Bronco jersey cheering for the Broncos. Fucking, I've gotten tackled and nearly gotten in a couple fights. But fucking Seattle, those people, especially when you start to get in the cheap seats. Oh my god, that's where it starts to get scary there. No, and also defense. They always say it wins championships, but point of the game's to outscore the other guy. It's about scoring.
Yeah, but if you have an amazing defense, you make your offense a lot easier. You make it a lot easier for your offense.
Yes,
here's the thing: you need both at the end of the day.
Plus, you gotta look at it this way too. If you've got really good defense, you give your offense a lot of time to rest.
Yes, but
but you need a good offense because then your defense gets tired too. Yeah, because they're out there too long.
Yeah,
I should know. I watched the Chicago Bears during the Lovie Smith days. It kind of hurts to watch how often defense had to go out there.
Yeah, I got to see that when Tim Tebow was quarterback. It's just well, that's 3 and out. And I've actually, I played football in high school. John, you played. John, what side of the ball were you on?
I was always on weak side. So
no, I mean defense or offense. What did you?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was on defense.
Yeah, like I was on defense too, and nothing sucks ass more than getting a stop, having a 3-and-out happen, then having to go back out again.
This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like
definitely.
I'm a person who's more defensively minded, but really at the end of the day, you kind of need both. You need a good defense to stop the other guy from scoring, and you need a good offense to pull a massive lead. So,
Well, yeah, of course you
you know,
need
you need
both ends,
both.
but if I have the option between going with a really good offense or a really good defense, I'm going with the really good defense.
I would do
That's,
the same, but I would do the same because I was like, with really good defense, at least you
This
can't really
history
lose.
proves it.
I mean,
History, like look at Steelers. Like during the '70s, yeah, we had Terry Bradshaw. We had a
yeah,
couple
but if you
good
look
wide
at the
receivers, but
2000s,
we won.
but
We
look at
we were
but
unbeatable, but because of that freaking steel curtain.
but if you look at the
because
2000s, you're
fucking
looking at
3
Tom
and
Brady,
out.
who's literally just
Like if
Look-
you just look
winning.
at the stats, like it was unbelievable. Like our 3-and-out percentage was unfreaking believable. It's like you go out on the field and get ready to be back on the sideline in like 2 minutes because
Like-
the freaking steel curtain was just you could not get through it.
like,
But then
you gotta,
there's people
you
like
gotta
Tom
look
Brady.
at the 80s. Like you look at the 80s and the 90s,
Tom Brady couldn't do shit on the steel curtain. I don't care what anyone says.
Well, I'm
There's-
talking about decade-wise, as far as offenses showing that they
Because
are
especially
also.
nowadays, the quarterbacks are all protected and shit. Like it's like you can't even do anything nowadays. Like back in the day, people used to body slam the fuck out of each other. Now
I mean-
I understand why they do that because obviously most people go to the games to watch their quarterback. It's just like the Patriots. Like without Brady, like you're gonna lose a lot of money on ticket sales and everything. So you want to keep the quarterbacks healthy, but at the same time, it's like NFL's getting to the point where they're making it so overprotective. Like you can't do so many things now. Like if you look at the tackles, like I'll give like the Raiders. Like what was that guy's name for the Raiders? He was freaking nasty. Freaking
Ted Hendricks? No, that's not right.
What decade here? We're talking because
I'm guessing the 70s, 80s.
It was like the 70s, 80s. I'm not remembering his name.
It was America's game. I know that.
But this dude would freaking knock the crap out of people. He just did not care.
I mean, you look at even the 90s or early 2000s with like Brian Dawkins, John Lynch. You know, you look at the
John
80s.
Lynch could hit.
I was so happy when Denver got him. Even when he was old, he was just knocking the shit out of people. No, but like then you look at the 80s.
The guy from the Steelers, freaking Lambert. Oh man,
Ronnie Lott on the Niners, like
Ronnie Lott. Oh yeah, Ronnie Lott.
Oh, Steve Atwater in Denver. My favorite play from Steve Atwater is that play. It's the second to last play of their first Super Bowl win, and he knocked 3 people out of the game. Himself, the corner who was on the tackle with him, and the receiver.
That's how you know you freaking hit when you knock 3 people out, including yourself.
It's just one hit. It's just like Atwater knocked 3 people out: himself, Hilliard, and Crockett. No, but then you look at the 80s, and the Niners had a solid defense, but they were all about scoring. They're putting up points.
Well, yeah, they had the freaking ultimate duo though between Montana and Rice.
And then you look at the 90s Cowboys. That was all about scoring. Smith, Irvin, Aikman. You know,
they still had decent defenses.
Yeah, they had decent, but the offenses, and Denver's 2 back-to-back Super Bowls. That was all about scoring. I remember watching that America's game, and they're
I can't remember the last time Denver had a pretty good defense. It's been a while.
Like 05. Like that was the last time.
It's been a while.
Like Denver under Shanahan was like. That's one thing I liked about Shanahan is
Shanahan went down a nasty hill.
Oh yeah, but when he was in Denver, I loved his attitudes. Like you could not score enough. There is no such thing as too many touchdowns.
That I can agree with because one of the worst things you can watch a team do is choke. Like I've seen it happen. I remember. It's like, oh look, Denver has a massive lead over the Patriots, but back in my brain was like saying, but something's gonna go wrong, right? And I did.
Just like that game, the Patriots beat the freaking Broncos when the Broncos had a huge ass lead on them.
I remember. Yeah, I remember that game. I was like, you know what? The Patriots aren't gonna. They're not gonna go down that easily.
3 turnovers back to back to back, a fumble, and then an interception, and the Patriots still freaking won.
That
was.
Oh my God!
I bet Bronson was freaking yelling at the damn TV.
I was not happy. I'll say that much. Oh man. Like for me,
I was like, wow, bro. I was expecting the Patriots to win this game. The Broncos are freaking kill them, and I freaking stopped watching at like halftime. I go back and see that the freaking game's like tied. I'm like, what? Like, how the fuck that happened?
It's the Patriots. They can do that.
But with the Patriots, I mean, the thing with Patriots though is after Brady, I don't know. Like, I know it's more than just a quarterback, but I don't know. I think Patriots are gonna have in the next couple of years. I think Patriots are gonna have a couple of years where they're not gonna be that great.
The thing that that game was a perfect example of what is wrong with the Broncos, and I hope the fucking Super Bowl made them get their shit together. Is they don't have the mentality of the Broncos Super Bowl teams, which is we're gonna fucking step up. We are gonna fucking just keep scoring and keep hitting people. And they stop at a point, and part of that's the coaching mentality of John Fox. I'm like, okay, we got to choose.
He used to be the coach for the Panthers, which is actually funny because he's been to 2 Super Bowls. One, he lost in the final seconds to the Patriots by a field goal. His next one, he just gets absolutely slaughtered. So as far as Super Bowl, I feel, oh man, it's like one game you get a nail biter like to the final seconds, but then the next time you go, you're just gonna get completely freaking slaughtered.
This goes back to the thing, like fucking Broncos, especially when they're healthy, because God, half our defense was on IR last year. Fucking Von Miller, Raheem Moore, Chris Harris, just fucking God. And when they're healthy and actually focused, you get what happened in the AFC Championship game where they beat the crap out of the Patriots. The problem is they're not always like that. And that's what's coming. That bit them in the ass against the Chargers. It bit them in the ass against the Colts. And it bit them in the ass against the Patriots. And then the Super Bowl, they didn't even pretend to be focused. They just came out like shit and stayed that way the entire game.
From the very first hike.
Yeah,
that game was really boring to watch, and I'm pretty sure the advertisers were probably flipping out because that wasn't very entertaining.
Yeah, especially after
me and Ross just kind of resorted to just talking. Yeah, Ross and I just resorted to us just watching mediocre commercials and eating food and just talking about other things. Which I was actually
kind of looking forward to that game too, because it's like one of the top offenses versus like the top defense.
Top offense versus the top defense, which is really great right up until it's like, you know what, this isn't even interesting.
Yeah, and then I was like, wow. But let's move along from football. We've spoken too much about football.
Yeah, half an hour.
Well, there's no such thing as too much football, but for a gaming podcast, there is.
I'm telling you, man.
Oh, man.
But this is why, like, I'm not sure if we should host it on the Gamer Access, but, like, just an independent sports podcast.
Yeah, I don't know about doing a football podcast on the site. That'd be kind of weird.
Yeah, just tell our fans, like, hey, it's not going to be on the site, but if you want this independent thing, it's on iTunes.
Well, we're going to go on Podomatic again?
Yeah, Podomatic. Pay for a Podomatic account again. Fuck
man,
yeah.
with like 10,000 people, we're going to be banned with cap in like a day.
Like in a second.
Like back when Bronson and I were running things with like literally a budget of almost nothing, we would be very proud if we could bandwidth cap our 2 gigabyte limit in a month. We would be very proud of that.
Yeah, now the site costs. I upgraded the server recently. It costs $200 a month to keep the site up and running now.
Yeah.
Yeah, which it might be even more in the future. Before you know it, we'll be on multiple servers, which will be crazy. But at least at that point, I think the advertising would be able to cover the increases there, so that'd be good. But moving on to my last news story. So pretty much the god of Unreal Tournament and Gears of War, Ciffy B. He's kind of been out of the gaming industry for a while. Really haven't heard much from him. He's been going to the events, but he's just really been keeping quiet until this week. On Twitter, he tweeted 7/8/14, obviously for being July 8th. And then It's a link to a picture of him wearing a shirt with a logo on it. A logo that we have never seen before. So, what does that mean? We're probably going to see a new game announced by Ciffy B next week on the 8th. I am so excited. This guy has incredible track record. I don't think Ciffy B's ever been involved in a game that was bad, ever.
Hey, man, he worked on Jazz Jackrabbit, right? Like, you can't beat that.
That's true, yeah. One of his lesser popular titles. But Unreal Tournament was really fun. Gears of War I loved. So I'd be curious to see what Ciffy B is going to work on. I definitely think that
has anyone noticed
he's no longer with Epic, but I still think from Ciffy B, because I can't see him going with something other than like a complete like gory freaking like just downright nasty violent game.
So has anyone else noticed this trend for shooters? And I think that he's probably going to hop in on this. I'd be willing to bet it's a shooter. Like, we went from
of course, that's where the money is. Do you think like I can afford those Lamborghinis creating games that don't sell?
So I think we're gonna go from like I know this is the transition that happened with games, right? For the shooter, it was like Doom, Duke Nukem, Wolfenstein, to GoldenEye, Unreal, Quake, to Halo, Call of Duty, and like recently Wolfenstein came out. Doom and Unreal are coming back. Like,
Wait, Unreal's coming back?
Yeah, they announced that like months ago. Like free-to-play Unreal.
Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah, they announced free-to-play Unreal Tournament. Is
it going to be PC only?
I assume so.
Because Unreal Tournament, was it 3 on the PlayStation 3 was pretty fun.
Yeah, that game worked really well on the PS3 actually. But last one I played was 2K4. A lot of anyway was 2K4. I was fucking addicted to that game.
What I loved about it is they still enabled mods, even though it was a console, which was pretty cool.
That was cool. There's this really good mod for that game. Do you remember the Redeemer? Like the fucking nuke, basically. Like it fires off, you can control it, and then it sets off. Like someone made a Nincat version of that. So it fires Nincat, and he has a rainbow trail, and it plays the song and everything. And then when it explodes, it's a rainbow explosion.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that created I downloaded. You could play as Master Chief, which is funny.
I remember the original Halo for PC had a pretty big modding community. People invent snowboarding games and all kinds of fun stuff. So I don't know.
July 8th. What day of the week is that? Let's see. That's a day from
Tuesday. That's Tuesday.
Gaming in games. Tuesday is always the big day.
Yeah, so next podcast, I'm sure we will be talking about
it. So, I mean, not much to really say there for me. What about you guys?
I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what it is. I'm curious to know who's publishing it, because obviously he's working with some company to publish the game. So, unless he's working on an indie title, he could be working on an indie title. You never know.
Jazz Jackrabbit 2. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, Ciffy B's cool, he has a good track record. Not much else I really have to say about that.
He's got a good taste in cars.
Yeah, no, dude buys good cars.
Maybe it's a racing game.
Yeah, maybe. He
makes a Twisted Metal type of game.
No, I bought the rights to Project Gotham. Project Gotham 5. Oh man, so I got a news story. Lindsay Lohan is suing Rockstar because supposedly
that's old news. I heard about that, but continue. Sorry.
Is suing Rockstar because her image is in the game, and it's Trevor.
Yeah, I heard about this a long time. She's just desperate for money.
Yeah, pretty much.
All those drugs.
Man, cocaine ain't cheap. We found that out at Sony party, right?
Oh yeah. That's how Sony gets you to like their press con. That's why they did it. They had cocaine before, so you get through their powers introduction. That's the thing. They had cocaine there, so it gave you time. Well, cocaine actually hits you instantly, so never mind. I was saying, so it gives you time to for it to start kicking in, so that when Powers comes, you think it's the greatest thing in the freaking world. But no, they didn't have cocaine, by the way. If you guys did not hear, our lovely staff member Kyrie Hill decided to snort donut powder as if it was cocaine, which was pretty funny.
She also, what was that painkiller, like that over-the-counter painkiller that like she wanted to take half of one?
Oh,
and she broke it open and licked it.
There's a reason why those liquid gel pills are in capsules. Like, she busted it, and then so it's a painkiller, and then she licks the liquid out of it, and then she wonders why her tongue is numb.
Oh, it was funny. Oh my god.
You know, I can imagine far, far worse. Like, what did Microsoft do to all the people that sat in the Xbox One review? Like, you remember how we joked about they were being company interns and they were like cheering that the Xbox One was going to be this great thing ever, when the rest of us, you know, regular human beings sitting at home were like, this is the worst game console ever.
Well, see, now here's my thing with the Xbox One reveal. I look at it as positive and negative. The negative is all they freaking talked about was what this console would do except for gaming, which was terrible because it's a reveal. But the good thing is they left all the games for E3, which is a gaming convention. So that made sense. But at the same time, it's like they should have just waited, announced it at E3, shown all the games, and then did their little entertainment thing later. Because no one's buying... Like, yeah, those features are nice, but... And at the end of the day, people buy the console for the games. They're not buying them for this multimedia stuff. Like, yes, it's a good feature to have, but it's not necessarily a selling point. Most of those features you can get elsewhere in like a $100 device.
Yeah, like, I mean, the Apple TV. Like, my mom currently uses my 360, but I kind of want my 360 back for, you know, certain reasons. And, like, I'm probably going to buy her an Apple TV. You know? Like, that's...
So... But they've definitely transformed around. I really like Phil Spencer. He definitely seems like the type of guy Microsoft needed to be running that company. He's all about gamers. He's like Don Matrick.
I feel like all of these companies...
Don Matrick doesn't freaking play games, but
I feel like all these companies...
Phil Spencer does.
All of these companies seem like they're trying to all go out there and be like the popular people. Like, in the past, E3s was kind of like, hi, I'm Mr. Corporate, here's some stuff we have. And now it's hey, I may be corporate, but I'm one of you cool people out there. How y'all doing today?
That was the thing. Like, with Microsoft, everyone that went up there, did you notice not a single one of them wore any type of formal wear at all? They were wearing, like, t-shirts and jeans.
Well, no, like, Ken Lobb, like, that dude has been making Killer Instinct and other games for, like, 20 years now, so you know he plays games, and like everyone on that stage was a developer of some kind.
Yeah, and Phil Spencer, you can just tell that he plays games. Like, you can just tell.
Dude, he during that indie segment, he came out with a Limbo shirt on.
Yeah.
So like, what's up?
Yeah, he's outspoken about Limbo. He's outspoken about Love and Gears of War. I guarantee you, he's the reason why. Because he's a freaking huge Gears of War fan, so he's like, we're buying that shit.
I mean, Shuhei Yoshida, like him and Adam
Shuhei Yoshida's amazing. He's awesome.
Dude, Shuhei is so awesome. He was actually
him on Twitter is awesome. Like, like, this dude is an executive, and this dude still responds to a ton of people.
Not only that, but like he goes on like gaming like he was on the IGN PlayStation podcast, and during E3, Giant Bomb does a podcast every day live. They record it, but they also do it live. And he was on their podcast, and what made me laugh my ass off is they're trying to get Ed Boon, one of the guys behind the original Mortal Kombat, to come on, and his text to Jeff Gerstmann was, "No way I'm getting on there with you fucking idiots, and no way Shuhei Yoshida is there." And he's fucking right there. Oh my god. But I mean, yeah, Shuhei Yoshida's super cool. He's also like admitted to like having competitors' consoles. Like, oh yeah, I have 2 Wii U's in my house. Like
that's
no,
how it should
Pretty sure a
be,
lot of
like-
those people actually do. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people who actually work on the Xbox One actually own a PlayStation 4. Also, it's not like you. It's not like you say. It's not like, hey, because you work for us, you're not allowed to have our competitors' products.
Plus, it's good to have the competitors' products so you can see what they do good and what you can improve on. Plus, it's like, yeah, man, these freaking executives, they got fucking tons of money. Of course, they've got the new consoles. They might not play that shit for months, but they'll spend $400, $500 so that they can play test it for an hour because they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, if not millions.
I mean, like, if you know, like, yeah, like, if you work on the Xbox team, chances are you got your Xbox for free. No shit.
Like, yeah, like, I remember hearing that with freaking Don Matrick. He used to freaking arrive to work every day in, like, a freaking helicopter. I'm like, are you serious, dude? Like,
is Don Matrick even a real person? Because I'm like, does someone actually live like that?
Can you be, like, more over the top? Like okay, I can understand, like, if you actually hate driving, okay, have a driver or something, whatever, that's cool. But you're gonna fucking arrive to work in a fucking helicopter every day?
Here's the thing, like, if I lived in, like, let's say I was a high, like, where he was with Microsoft, I would fucking, like, bike to work or walk, because you live in Redmond, Washington. That's like the fucking most, like, that's like one of the richest fucking places in America. Like, you are so.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, but you're executive too. If people know you, they might stick you up.
Here's the thing:
Yeah,
how can he afford to? What does he do? He rides the helicopter every day to work, right?
That's what That's what I was hearing.
How can he? How did he afford that? Because not like he's not like CEO of Microsoft itself or anything. He's just the head of the Xbox division, right?
You heard about his deal to Zynga, right? He got off. Like they offered him like freaking $20 million in stock to go to Zynga. Dude's freaking these people. That's the thing people don't realize about executives. Like these executives, you look at their salary, and yeah, they're good salaries, but you're like, oh, they don't get as paid as much as I thought as they would. Like these executives
stock
are getting
options,
paid,
dude.
They're getting paid like $200,000-$300,000 a year, but their salary is nothing to them. Their salary is just like, okay, that don't pay for my expenses. They're freaking there for the stocks because they'll get in there and they'll be offered like freaking $10 million of stock every year. Like that's where these executives make their money. So Don Matrick had some deal with Microsoft where if he had stayed there a little bit longer, he had to cash his stock out for more. And Zynga's like, no, we'll just give you like $28 million of our stock to make up for it. Like that dude's got money. Like you're gonna a helicopter, you can get a helicopter for probably about $1 million or less. So he can afford his own helicopter, and he can pay someone to fly him there every day easily without a problem.
Man, how interesting of a job must that have been? Like, as a helicopter pilot, you get this good daily gig where you're flying what? Like, he probably still lived in Washington, so like you're flying like maybe like 50 miles, you know, to drop this dude off and
then come pick him up.
Yeah, like how cush of a job must that have been as a fucking helicopter pilot? Like just ridiculous. Like that must have been just so easy. You know, like I bet he was so bummed out when oh my god. Like just that must have been just the easiest goddamn job. Oh, he must have been so bummed when he went to Zynga.
Yeah. Well, he's still got money. I don't know if he's flying there in helicopters every day, but that dude's got money. He's got that Zynga money now.
Oh man.
Zynga's the perfect company for a guy like him. Like, he was just like running Xbox to the ground, but for Zynga, yeah, because they're all about nickel and diamond through mobile apps, and that's where he needed to be. Like Microsoft, this is like console gaming. This is totally different. So like Phil Spencer is just perfect for the job.
You have to have a different like attitude depending on what part of this industry you're in. Like you know.
Well, that's the thing. Like, of course, yes, it's a business. You have to make money. But you don't make money by saying stupid shit like Xbox 360 is your offline console option when you sure as hell know the PlayStation 4 is going to be available. And then I still think that releasing the Xbox One with the Kinect bundle required for $100 more than PlayStation 4, that was a big no-no because I guarantee you that if the Xbox One had never had all this bad negative criticism. It was all positive, just like it was for the PlayStation 4. And they launched at $400. I guarantee you it would have sold just as well as the PlayStation 4 at launch, if not better.
I'd say about 90% of PlayStation 4, because the PS4 kind of ticked up quite a bit towards the end, and the 360 just slumped. So I kind of felt like, and the PS4 is slightly more popular worldwide.
It would have just been closer. Like
it would be much.
Xbox
yeah, it would
One,
be. Yeah, it would be quite a lot closer. I'd say like maybe Xbox One would be 90% of PS4.
Yeah, like Xbox One is still selling well. Don't get me wrong. The Xbox One's selling better than Xbox 360, and the Xbox 360 sold amazingly. So, but the PlayStation 4 is just unbelievable with its sales. But
I mean, PlayStation 4,
the PlayStation 4 is what? The consoles haven't even been out a year, and the PlayStation 4 has already sold like 3-4 million more units, hasn't it? Something like that. I think they've sold like a third more, like 33% more consoles, which is pretty big.
I mean, it's kind of weird. It's really interesting to think about, like, that what-if scenario. But even then, like, Sony still has a lot of things in its favor. It's like, okay, well, like, they are the more powerful console. In fact, I'm going to send you guys this video from Techno Buffalo, where they, like, did the hardware breakdown on both systems. And, like, the PS4 has a pretty good advantage over the Xbox One as far as overall power goes. And then I personally think the controller on the PS4 is better, especially because
it's like it's so funny because it's like I go back to my PlayStation 3 and that controller just feels so bad. It feels so bad.
Hey, I'm using one right now to drive a car, and it's not very comfortable.
Dude, it's same with my 360. Like, I tried to play Halo the other day. I'm just like, what is this?
Yeah. Which is gonna be funny because you know what, the next consoles will be saying the same thing, and it's just like these controllers, like the DualShock 4 is my favorite controller ever created. So it's like the fact that with the next PlayStation it's gonna be even better, and it's gonna make this console feel bad. Although remember with the PlayStation 3, the freaking boomerang controller?
That was funny.
I could not believe they were freaking serious about that.
I cannot believe that the Duke made it to market, like the original Xbox controller. Like,
that thing was a freaking monster.
Like, that thing, like, I remember getting my hands on the thing for the first time, and I'm like, why would you do this? Who likes this? This is terrible. And then they came out with the S controller, and I was like, oh, okay, now this is bearable. And then when the 360 controller came out, it was near perfect. Like, that thing was wonderful when it first came out.
I loved the DualShock 3 when it came out, but then now I got the DualShock 4, and I was like, DualShock 4 is freaking amazing. Like, it's so good.
They actually, either they're putting it out soon, and it's just out where now the PS3 supports the DualShock 4, except it just doesn't support the motion or rumble. So, you know, and that includes wireless.
Yeah, I saw, yeah, because you could support it by USB, but now you can do it wireless. I saw that too, but it's a pain how you have to set it up. It's not like super simple, where you pretty much have to, keep in mind if you have a PlayStation 4 around you have to unplug it, and then you have to, like, register it as a Bluetooth device, and it doesn't even show it as like a Sony controller. It just shows up as like a wireless controller or whatever. So it's a little bit of a pain setting up. But yeah, I saw that as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so
it's like that's part of the reason why like I'm looking forward to playing. Now, The Last of Us actually did play. I had already beaten it when the PlayStation 4 came out, but I actually played that game with the DualShock 4 because it does support it. You just have to use the USB, and it played well. But that's one reason I'm looking forward to playing through The Last of Us again, and because it's going to look better. And then especially Grand Theft Auto 5, because Grand Theft Auto 5 does not support the DualShock 4 on the PlayStation 3. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I've seen like the PS3 versus the PS4 version, and it's just jaw-dropping difference. It's such a big difference. So I can't freaking wait, because I never even got to the point where I freaking really experienced Grand Theft Auto Online. Like, I played it a little bit, but not that much. So I'm really excited to dive back into that.
I played it a little bit with Anthony and Aaron. Like, I know Aaron by then will have a PS4. Anthony, I'm hoping you cave by then.
That game was out like this fall, though.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping Anthony caves by the time Destiny's out.
The Destiny bundle.
Yeah, so
he really liked Drive Club, Anthony. You really like Drive Club. Destiny's coming out.
and part of Drive Club will be free with your Plus subscription.
Are you guys seriously trying to get me to buy a PlayStation 4 early now?
Yes. Yes. I want to play Destiny with you.
Man,
so yes.
playing Drive Club was wow. Like Nick and I played the demo, and normally these days racing games kind of bore me because they're all kind of a little the same, or they're kind of like the same as the previous game in that franchise. But then there was like this Drive Club, and I was obsessed over the little fact that they freaking lit up the little lights on the dashboard just like the real car would.
That was freaking funny. I know. I saw Anthony playing, and I'm just enjoying like how good the game looks and plays. But the first thing Anthony brings up is how the lights in the dashboard light up.
No, to me that's a big deal because you think about it. Any racing game out there can make the world look gorgeous. They just need time. Like Gran Turismo 7 is going to do it too. And, Forza 5 is already trying to do that. Like, Need for Speed's doing that. Like, all these games are, like, trying to, like, Drive Club is definitely special when they said that they went on and said, you know what? The sky will never look the same ever. It's always unique. Unless it's a replay. Then it will look the same as when you did it back then. But to me, it's like, the little lights on the dashboard were lighting up, and it wasn't, and in Gran Turismo and Forza, the most you were getting was, like, an indicator on the HUD. Whereas in Drive Club, they actually light up the stability control light when it's trying to save you from sliding off the road and crashing. And to me, it's those little details that make me go, wow, there's finally a game that does that. And for me, what really makes me interested in Drive Club is the ridiculous amount of time and detail they put into every single car. Like, it looks so nice.
Yeah, that's the thing. Drive Club, they said there's only like 50 cars in there, but they look really good. At least from the cars
they gave like some really high man-hour count for each and every vehicle they did.
It was like 7 weeks or something. No, 7 months. 7 months.
7 months total of man-hours was put to just make one car, and they animated and they freaking make sure it's as close to the real thing as possible. Now, if this was a driving sim, I would be suckered into going out and saying, fuck yeah, I'll buy a PlayStation 4 now. But it's kind of like in the halfway point, which is okay too.
Well, because see, that's the thing with Gran Turismo is ridiculous. They're like, we got 1,000 cars, but only 100 of them are premium models, so only 100 of them really look really nice.
The thing about Gran Turismo is that, I guess in the case of the PlayStation 3, it's not powerful enough to simulate every single thing that they wanted it to. Like, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think that. Freaking with Polyphony Digital, I guarantee you that no matter whatever the specs of the PlayStation 5 are, those won't be a freaking enough for what they want to do. Like, they're just freaking crazy with their stuff.
No, but I'm talking about like in the case of PlayStation 3. Like, I always kind of thought to myself, gee, Polyphony, it would be really nice that since you put so much effort to, render all these cars to make it look as lifelike as possible, PlayStation 3, you could at least make some more needles on the dash move. But I always felt like they never did that. Like, it's just the temperature needle moves. Oh, hey, look at this. We simulated a random oil pressure gauge. Or in the case of the Lamborghini Gallardo, hey guys, we simulated gas mileage in this car. We simulated the actual gas fuel economy meter in this car, and I'm just like, you simulated all of that, and yet you didn't bother to do the rest of this stuff. Like, yeah, Forza, it's like in the case of Forza, sometimes you kind of notice
they have a good balance. They usually have like 300. Like Forza 5 doesn't have. It's like 200 cars. But that's because we all know that they rushed that game out to be launch title.
At least in the case of Forza, it's more uniform in quality.
There's a lot more than 200 cars now. If you download
in Forza
DLC
4, they
packs,
gave,
which I think are outrageously priced.
Yeah,
and they charge like $10. Like I think it's outrageous. Plus the thing with like these games, like 50 cars, yeah, I think maybe if they'd have done 100, that would have been a little bit better. But it's like with these games, like they talk about how many cars they have, but then at the same time, it's like who wants to freaking race with a PT Cruiser or this freaking these weird cars? Like
Nick, I actually would do that. I would. No, look, this is why I like Driver San Francisco so much. Is because I want to go out there and race in a Chevrolet Corvette Stingray. Guess what? Every other racing game on the planet has a Corvette Stingray. Okay, so if I want a Corvette Stingray, well, guess what? Every other game has it. Same with all the Ferraris, same with all the Lamborghinis. It's like, Forza's like, hey, we've got the latest, hottest new Lamborghini Huracan right here. Well, guess what? So will Gran Turismo, so will Need for Speed, so will every other racing game out there. So, like, to me, the opportunity of the fact that I could, try and outrun the police in a Ford Crown Victoria taxi is just really exciting, which is, it's great.
If you want to race with a Porsche, you can only go with EA's Need for Speed.
And you know what? Forza 4 managed to get it. Yeah, here's the thing, though. Forza 4 managed to finally get Porsches into the game, but I think EA may have charged them a ridiculous amount of money because that expansion pack was like $20 or $30. So
hold on. Back on the original topic here, Anthony. Destiny's gonna be pretty sweet. Drive Club. Next year Metal Gear will be here. Batman. I know you're not the biggest Batman fan in the world, but that Batman trailer, how fucking ridiculous did that look?
Get it for Christmas, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, that's a really big stretch.
Yeah, dude, no. Like, my parents, even when I was a kid, would have been like, yeah, if you get straight A's and mow the lawn like a billion times, maybe. Like, as a grown-ass man, I'm not sure about Anthony's, but mine would be like, you're funny. Like, the furthest my parents will go now that I'm an adult is probably $200, and that was for my Astro headphones. And I didn't even ask for that. I just asked for headphones. And, like, my mom went full board with it.
The problem with me getting a PlayStation 4 now is that there's a lot of expensive stuff I'm getting in 2015. It's like, man, I need a new laptop. Man, I need to get a PlayStation 4. Man, I need to upgrade my computer's graphics card.
Okay,
wow, that's already like $1,000 right there. Plus.
Anthony, quick question. I paid a little bit over $1,500 for my laptop. If I were to, now, hypothetically, I probably won't do this, but if I were to sell it to you for $1,000 and then buy myself another newer laptop, would you bite on that?
Ooh, that's a maybe.
Okay,
that's a maybe.
Because I'm gonna wait till Nvidia's next card refresh. So it'll probably be March of next year. But even then, like,
freaking that light up trackpad just still annoys the hell out of me. I know you can turn it off.
You can turn it off.
Just like all the other lights on the case, you can turn it off, which is great because obviously it makes sense you want to shut it off. But still, it's like it's a really dumb feature, I feel, because the trackpad's always there. It's always in the same spot. It's not like with the keyboard. The keyboard, it makes sense to light it up because there's like 101 keys on it, so you kind of need to know where they are. Whereas with trackpad, it's only a pad and 2 buttons. That's it. Anyways, ooh, that's a maybe. Might want to ask me about that. If you're seriously considering that, you might want to ask me in the near future.
Okay, because like it's gonna be when the I guess 900 series comes out.
Whoa. So okay, that might be a bit too late.
Okay, well I don't know. We'll see. Like it's gonna depend because I've been kind of wanting to go to, like, this is gonna sound retarded, but like a 17-inch maybe for a little more horsepower.
That must be fun to carry.
Well, I carry this thing twice a year, maybe 3 times. So at this point, I'm looking for desktop replacements.
Do you game on the actual monitor, or do you hook yours up to the TV?
I game on the actual monitor sometimes, and sometimes the TV. It really depends on the game.
Yeah, 17 inches seems way too small for me. I can understand like a World of Warcraft where you're like all hands on with it, but I don't know.
Yeah, it very much depends on the game. Like if I'm doing like Wolf Among Us, Walking Dead, and World of Warcraft.
I can't imagine playing like Skyrim or Borderlands on that small screen.
Thing is, like my TV, like I have to do a lot of weird shit to get the aspect ratio right on it. So sometimes, like I'll hook it up to my mom's 24-inch, and that's actually perfect for the viewing distance because I'm about my TV is 50-inch, so I'm about 6 feet away from it, and my mom's TV, it's usually in the living room, it's usually the same thing. Like that's a 24-inch, so I'm about 3 to 5. So, then my computer, I'm about 2 maybe. So I don't know. Like it's not that bad. Like this is a 14-inch, And even then, that's fine for most games. Like the games that are really where it's annoying are like Batman and like action adventure games. Shooters, it's great. In fact, I found that like in shooters, I'm better with a smaller screen. And the reason is because you can see everything without having to use your peripheral vision.
Right.
So shooters, I'm actually better. Uh, you know, like Borderlands. So Borderlands, I prefer to play on it. Like a game like The Witcher, yeah, I kind of want to hook my computer up to my TV to play The Witcher. But I don't know. It varies. I know we are going to be getting John into PC gaming for the first time soon here. Yeah, John,
We're working on it.
You're about to go down a magical rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, my wallet's so very excited.
Hey man, look, the initial cost is made up for it with Steam sales. So
Yeah,
you mean the long-term cost?
yeah, like,
I started getting into PC gaming towards the end of this previous generation, just because the games are looking so much better. Like Borderlands 2 on Max on my PC looks so good.
oh, like no, dude, I've been
But
playing
now
Skyrim.
it's like the new consoles are out, and a lot of the games look better on the consoles than they do their PC, or they look very similar on Max settings. So it's like I've kind of laid off on PC gaming recently.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I've gotten more into it just because, like, I don't know. Like, I've just been kind of into the PC thing. Like, as last generation ended, I started to really get more into it, and as this one started, I kind of started to get more into it. The only thing that kind of keeps me on the consoles is 60-minute access because I can't afford to buy every new release, and we don't get sent every new release, so I have to rent them through GameFly. Everyone who is like, how do you do 60-minute access on a budget of nothing? It's GameFly. Without GameFly, we couldn't do that show. At least the way we currently do it. So you be thankful for them, I guess. And I highly recommend the service if you're considering it. So like being able to just constantly swap out through GameFly is probably the number one reason. But if you're the type of person who likes to own your games, then like, what can like as perfect example as a Steam sale is The Witcher 3 is coming out February of next year. Right now it's $10 off on Steam. So you can get it for $50 instead of $60. And there's all kinds of stuff like this. Like I remember like a couple months after Borderlands was out, it was half off. Like Steam sales are amazing. They end up saving you a lot more of money over the long term.
Which they're easily able to do because they aren't selling you anything. They're just giving you access. They're giving you access to download the game, whereas with actual physical copies, they have to worry about the shipping costs involved and getting it to the store.
They gotta. Yeah.
Which have you noticed that like they've gotten so anal about the cost now that like these games they don't even come with manuals anymore. They're all like on the game or.
Actually, they did research and found out that no one ever reads it.
Yeah.
I mean, like for me to open up Mass Effect,
it probably saves them considerable amounts of money, especially like a game like Grand Theft Auto. Like, think about how many games they're printing. They're probably saving millions of dollars by not having to include that booklet.
In the case of, it's just they get rid of the manuals because one, they found out no one reads them, and and two, they could just put it on the disc. Like in the case of the 3DS. Oh, I need a manual. Well, you can actually suspend the game and open up the manual of the game and just read it through there. But then there would be like cases where I open up Mass Effect 1 and I find a fully colored instruction manual with pictures.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I have the Halo 2 Collector's Edition, and one thing I remember about that is if you got the regular one and opened it up, it was like from the perspective of the humans. But if you got the collector's edition, all the weapons, all the commentary was from the perspective of the aliens. Like I thought that was really cool, and I miss having like when you open a game, you get the full color manual and all that stuff. Hell, I hate the new disc covers. Like these fucking like these are not solid. They have the spoke on a lot of them.
They do that because they need to be environmentally friendly and it's less plastic.
I believe PS3 games and PS4 games don't do that. Hold on, I'm gonna
they
check
don't do
on...
that yet. Good
Yeah,
GT6 didn't do that.
Does Nintendo? Hold on, I'll open Nintendo.
Nintendo does. I'm gonna check Mario Kart 8.
I got Wonderful 101 right here. Yeah, Nintendo does. They do it on both sides too. I know Microsoft does for sure. God, it annoys me because like these are meant to protect these games, and you know now that's all.
Well, it's not like you're chucking your game case out the window like a frisbee, are you?
Hey man, that has happened to me before. That is how although that killed like a couple cartridges. I used to live on a third story of an apartment, and we were moving, and I had and I sat like a couple of my games on the windowsill because I needed to go grab something, and like it was kind of windy. They got knocked off, and there's Majora's Mask, and it's gone. So that
is a fragile cartridge, though. That's not a disc.
Yeah, like both my Zelda games bit it. Star Fox bit it. And
they're all cartridges where they tell you not to blow in them, but that's the only way to get them to work.
Fucking NES cartridges, especially. Oh my god. So, also, side note, I know that I told you guys about that person we are trying out. I just got samples, so I'll send those to you later. Just want a little update there. So I don't know. We got any other news to talk about?
That's all the news I have.
Let's head into questions.
Okay. Not many this week. Hey, John, how you doing?
Oh, I'm just living the dream. Pretty fantastic.
All right.
I do have a question from E3 2014 Behind the Scenes Part 2.
Okay, what was that?
It's from Cray-T. One thing is certain, you guys have the best shades game between Nick and Bremen. What glasses do you guys have?
I have they're Gucci. They're I'm not remembering the model number of them. 1527 maybe. I'm not remembering the model of them, but yeah, I have Gucci's. Really nice, but they're expensive. So.
All right. We also got a comment on our Mario Kart 60-minute access from
Cray-T. The price you give my glasses, you could almost get a PlayStation 4, Xbox One, almost.
Why would you pay for fucking what?
Dude, they're freaking awesome.
You're paying for quality and style isn't cheap.
I don't.
They're from good old Italy.
I don't wear. Hey, you got two Italians in the podcast.
Half Italian, technically.
Half. Yeah, John, you're half also, right?
Yeah, but together we equal one.
Yes, John and I together.
But yeah, the pair I got them for because the thing is, anyone who knows about like high-end companies, like they sales don't exist. There's an MSRP, and that's the only price you can get them at. So mine, I think they're $295, but I love them. They're fucking awesome. I can't answer for Bremen. I don't know what type of shades he wears.
No, I have no idea either. I know that Bremen is a man who is very stylish. Bremen is a very stylish man. His brother is a very stylish man, but he wears suits all the time, and his brother is starting to infect me. Like he has been like constantly trying to get me to wear a suit, along with my friends Tori and Shannon. And I finally caved one day and wore my suit to work. What'd you guys think? I sent you that picture.
Yeah, I saw it.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'm considering going to the thrift shop and getting some more suits. So,
every time I say thrift shop, I think of that damn song.
Hey man,
yeah.
I'm kind of glad that he made that song because like up until that song, it's all about like super expensive brand name shit. Then afterwards, like, nah, dude. You can look fly buying shit at the thrift shop, and it's true. I bought my suit for prom at a thrift shop, and it looked amazing. In fact, it was actually a better suit than the one I wore at my senior prom a year later.
I remember that one. You said they screwed up the measurements on your pants.
They screwed up the measurements, too. The pants were too big. It was super annoying. So yeah, I learned that from now on, I should buy all my suits from a thrift shop. I don't I don't know. Like, have you guys ever bought clothes at a thrift shop?
I
don't
have
think
not.
so because obviously the clothing stores I go to, they always have these perpetual sales. So really, it's like, here, you can get this polo shirt for $10, $15. It's 70% off. Like, they have sales so much that it's like, so the normal price for this t-shirt is $10, $15, but you're still making a pretty darn good profit, even though you claim the normal price of this shirt is like $40.
So here's the thing. At the thrift shop, I can get a shirt like yours for $2.
Yeah, I know.
That's fucking, it's great. I bought that entire suit that looked amazing. Cost me $30.
Very nice.
Fucking just
That's crazy.
dude, like people. Hey man, one man's trash is another man's treasure. I wear your granddad's clothes, and I look incredible.
I gotta say, I do not like his music.
That song is funny to me, has good beat, but some of his other stuff is actually pretty good. Though it's like oddly specific about his life. So, I want to know from our listeners, maybe they can comment on this. Any of you shop at thrift shops? Anyone? No. John, you've been quiet during this whole thing. What's your opinion on thrift shops?
I got a really nice sports coat from a Goodwill once. But I mean that was the only thing I've gotten. Every once in a while you find some nice things. Like, I mean, you go for more than just clothes sometimes.
Yeah.
But you can find some really awesome things for sure.
So I gotta tell you this, my friend Snowy, she found a replica portal gun at the fucking Goodwill. Like those $150 replica portal guns. She found that and bought it for $8 at a thrift store. I think that like it got given away hastily by a mom. Like there is someone in Reno that is super pissed that their portal gun got given away. Like that's what I think happened there.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, like you've had some really cool shit there. Like I remember last time I was there, I found some really rare like original Nintendo games. Like they got, I don't know, man. But that should be a TGA video. John, Anthony, and Bronson explore a thrift shop. There you go. Content, high quality content. So we actually did get a couple of comments on other videos though, since we're lacking on this one. Yes, was hoping you guys would do a series on Mario Kart. Wish granted. We try and do the biggest games. I mean, like I said, like you guys want us to do something in particular, tell us, because we can't read minds and we just kind of guess. Like I just kind of go, oh, this is the biggest release of the week. We'll do that. You know, like, and you can ask Anthony. I literally have 60-minute access planned months in advance. So, you know, like, we also got a comment on the dancing video. Which did you guys watch that? Did anybody watch
it?
it?
I edited it. Of course I did.
I have not had a chance to watch it. No.
I think it was kind of funny because the Just Dance one at the Nintendo booth was basically looked like a high-end fitness workout to a song, whereas the Dance Central one looked kind of boring. Because it's just like, gee, is the music selection at the Dance Central one just kind of a bit lame and unenergetic? Because the Just Dance one was just like crazy power workout featuring Bronson and Bremen.
So I tried to convince Kyrie to do these with us, but she just would not. Like I was like, please, come on. I got Bremen to do it. So I got Bremen. And the Just Dance one, like we said, give us the silliest thing you have. And the second they go over to that song, I'm like, oh no, we made a big mistake. Like with this and then we did. First off, Dance Central is a far better video game. It's more entertaining. You learn actual dance moves, but like, Just Dance should be the far more fun game to play at a drunken party. So take that as you will. But we got a comment on that though from Solid Kratos. Oh, we got some jerk named Hammett saying Bronson does not believe in shirts that fit. I see. And my response to you is go play in traffic. And
Go
then,
play in traffic.
depending on which, that green shirt fit fine, and then the Catherine shirt, yeah, I bought that about 20 pounds ago. So, anyway, Dance Central was obviously the better dance they did. Now all we need is a dance off inside the Gamer Access staff, and that would complete this awesome experience. So, Nick, this is what I'm thinking. Nick, how big would you say your living room is? Like, big enough to have 2 people dance in it for Dance Central?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do then. I will bring, we just bring the new Dance Central for Xbox One. We'll download it onto my account, onto your Xbox, and next E3, or next time we're in LA, we'll do a staff dance-off.
We can do that.
Alright, I like this.
If we can find time. Because I'm not doing that at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
okay.
that's very true.
Okay, well, how about the night we get in?
Yeah,
that's better. That does not sound healthy, because then we'd be so stuffed that doing that kind of stuff when full is not very healthy.
Let the you let the stomach sit for a good 30 minutes, 45 minutes. We'll talk about the stuff we're doing the next day, and then go into us dancing. It'll be good to work off all that steak and ribs. There you go. See? All planned. It'll be fun. We get to see
our magnificent Outback dinner that we had right before. Which, by the way, I mean, she ended up fixing it, but if you go to Outback, I've discovered a bug, you could say, in their menu and how it works. Do not order like a side of mac and cheese if let's say for example I order a steak, or let's take a bad example because you get multiple sides of that. So say you order something, it only comes with one side. So say you want to do French fries. You're like, well, can I add an extra side of mac and cheese? You'd be like, okay, they'll charge me like a couple dollars more. No, they charge you $8 for a little cup of mac and cheese. And I was like, I saw the receipt, and on the receipt it says I ordered a whole new pasta because I ordered an extra side of my girlfriend ordered an extra side of mac and cheese. I was like, $8? Now she eventually fixed it, but I was just like, what? Like, you guys should fix that, but
you guys should have like seen Nick's expression on his face when he was just staring.
It was the funniest shit. Oh my god. It was so funny. Like, he couldn't figure it out. Like, it didn't work in his mind.
It didn't make sense. It just didn't.
Like, you were so bewildered. It was great.
Speaking of,
I'm not a cheap person. I'm not. But when you're gonna charge me freaking $8 for a little cup of mac and cheese that you can only get a couple bites out of, that's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, so
while we're on the topic of prices of stuff that kind of stab you, so when after the Microsoft press conference, we drove down to downtown LA so we can pick up our wristband thingies for the PlayStation event, and as well get our badges. And, we had some issues finding parking, and then we eventually found this teeny weeny little underground garage, which I don't know how that even worked. Parked there, did our stuff, came back, and I was like, shouldn't be too bad, right? Threw my ticket into the machine, and it said, okay, sir, you parked for 3 hours, that will be $20.
No, that was pretty bad. Not as bad as, like I said, the convention center. Like, I've been to the Seattle Convention Center, and bottles of water there are like $2.50. It's expensive, but it's
$2.50. But yeah, $2.50 is reasonable for a convention center.
Yeah, like $2.50 is like, it's expensive because a bottle of water should be like $1. But okay, I'll bite. $2.50, $3, I'll bite. But then this shit was $4, and a Gatorade was $5 or $6, and I was just like I just came back to the table, and I was like, so that's what rape feels like. Okay. I feel like I need to, like, shower. Oh, God, that happened multiple times. Like, every time we ate there. Because the only place to eat, the only place for lunch, is that fucking one spot and the food trucks. We didn't find about the food trucks until the last day. So, we go out, we go to that fucking $7 for a chili dog. And this is not, like, a good chili dog. This is, like, Anthony, you've been to the
convention center food.
Yeah, like Anthony's been with me to Gold and Silver, and like Gold and Silver, it's like $9 for a chili dog, but this is like a legit chili dog. Like fucking real chili, good ass big hot dog. Like not.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah,
like I got pizza. It's like $7 a slice.
yeah. Like, did you feel like you needed a hot shower afterwards?
Well,
Like,
Well,
I
I
knew it was
had
gonna be
the
that
chicken
price.
and
So.
fries. They
That
had,
was
which was
the
a lot of
best
food.
deal.
Yeah, that was like I think 8 or 9. It was like
That was
for me
reasonable.
$13. I think total when you count
Yeah.
the chicken, the fries, and the drink.
The
But for me, it was like, you know what?
Coke, the Coke that was $4.25. God damn it!
Yeah, but the chicken tenders with fries, I found is the best thing to get there because it's like $9, but you get like four
You
or
get a
five
good
It's
amount
a
of
chicken
lot of
tenders
food.
and
It's a lot of
fries. It's
food.
like that's what you would pay at like if you go to like a mid-end restaurant, you'd pay that for.
Yeah, like that wasn't horrible. The drinks are just where you got fucking destroyed. Like now I know next to E3 to like buy a Camel pack.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
now
it's
I
like
know.
I remember Bronson's like for what I pay for this drink, I'm getting free refills.
Yeah, like what? Yeah, no, I didn't give a fuck at that point. Like, I paid $4.25 for this fucking drink. I don't give a shit what they say, unless they get security come fucking stop me. I'm getting a free refill because fuck you. And quite frankly, they didn't give a shit. Like, I didn't make it obvious that I was getting a free refill, but I just walked around, just put my cup there, walked back around because it was like,
I'm sure everyone does that.
yeah, no, because I mean, it's $3 for a small, $4.25 for a regular Coke. Like, what the fuck? Like the Seattle Convention Center is expensive.
It's the same thing if you go to like a football game.
You know, I didn't. Well, granted, like
I remember I went to a Yankees game with my parents, and for 5 people to eat a hot dog and a drink, it was like $80 for a
yeah,
hot dog and a drink.
like I remember going to that Raider game. It was Broncos Raiders, and it was fucking expensive. It wasn't that bad though. I've never been hit as bad as I have at that fucking LA Convention Center. And now I know,
Well, that's
like,
because you're in LA. Everything's expensive here.
like I know. Now I know. Also, I'm kind of mad we never got to check out that used game store in that mall by your house. But I, you know,
It looks like it's laid out exactly like a play-in trade, but it's not a play-in trade. I wonder if it's like a sister company or something.
we should find out. But I, like I've been to football games, baseball games. I've been to the Seattle Convention Center. I've been to the Reno Convention Center. I've paid like, and I've been to all those places, but never as bad as LA. And now I know that from now on, I'm gonna buy a bigger backpack for E3 and just fill it with bottles of water. Just like I was carrying a fucking 2 liter of water with me days 2 and 3 because of what happened on day 1. That we bought at 7-Eleven. And even then, I still ended up buying water because you drink a lot of water because it's hot. And you walk a lot. Not CES walking, but still a lot of walking. I don't think anything's been as bad though as like when Aaron paid $7 or $8 for a beer at CES. That was pretty terrible.
Well, come on, what do you expect?
Oh, I know, but I'm just like, ugh.
You go to a freaking like a sports event, they charge you like $10 for a beer.
I seriously want to talk to people like, how do you sleep at night? And their
Well,
response
that's where they make the money. Is
their response would be on a bed made of money.
Well, yeah, concessions is where I mean, like some of these sports are like football games or whatever. You're like, well, how do they afford to pay these players when they're only charging freaking $10 for a ticket or whatever? It's called concessions.
Yeah,
just like movie theaters. Movie theaters don't really make that much money off the tickets. They make the money off the popcorn.
Movie theaters don't check my bag the way sports events do. That's what pisses me off about sports events. Is like sports events check your bag.
Well, they do that for security, though.
Yeah, but like they don't have to take the food out. They don't have to take my fucking food out.
Well, that's where they get a lot of their money. Of course, they're not going to let you in.
Well, yeah, no, but movie theaters.
If everyone's allowed to do that.
Yeah, every time I go to the movie theaters, it's like I fucking have a backpack full of shit. The only thing I buy at the movie theater is the popcorn. Like fucking, especially sodas. Like you get hit so hard for sodas at the movie theater. Although last time I went to a movie with a friend, we bought the biggest thing of popcorn. That if you finish it, you get a free refill. And I think
that's how it is at like all movie theaters.
And I think it was purely because the movie was really boring. It was the Amazing Spider-Man, the first one.
Here's the secret. What you do with popcorn is like you obviously get there a little bit early or whatever, and you're like at that point where you're like halfway through the bucket, and you're like, shit, I want to get it refilled so I don't have to fill it up again during the movie, but it's only halfway. You go and fucking dump it in the fucking trash can, and then you go and get your refill. That's what I do.
See, we ate we were halfway through the movie, and like we didn't start eating the popcorn until the movie started. We ate the entire bucket, and then Ben got another bucket, and we finished it before the end of the movie.
Well, if I was watching Amazing Spider-Man, I wouldn't mind exiting the theater to go get another thing either.
Yeah, that movie was terrible. I remember I was like, do you want to go get it? And I was like, no, I'll go get it. I was like, all right, fine, whatever. God, man.
Last movie I saw was actually less than a week ago. Think Like a Man 2. Actually, no, it was more than a week ago. Think Like a Man 2. The movie's so funny.
Mine was Pacific Rim, and then before that, it was Wreck-It
wow!
Ralph.
I saw that movie a long time ago.
Yeah, it came out last summer, right?
Yeah.
So
I haven't gone in a while.
No,
I usually go to the theaters like once every 2 months.
I don't go to the theaters often. Like unless I am invited or there's a movie like Pacific Rim that is just so much better at the fucking theater that I can't.
The movie I saw before Think Like a Man 2 was Godzilla, which I saw in 3D IMAX. Godzilla's a good movie.
I heard it was like the movie that I want to. Like Captain America is still is gone now. There's another movie that came out recently that I really want to see.
Gravity is a really good movie to see in 3D IMAX. It's not there anymore, obviously.
They actually had that for free downtown here, and I missed out on going to it.
They had it for free?
Yeah, they were doing a free showing. I think the library was. It was weird. Oh man, Reno is a weird town, and I had this conversation with my friend Tori, who's just spent a year in San Francisco, going to school. She's back home for the summer, and she's like, living in San Francisco, then coming back here, I realized that Reno has just no city planning. And it's true. It's true. Like, the Starbucks closest to my house is right across the street from a strip club.
That's funny.
I go and get my coffee. I park in their parking lot because it's the only parking lot around there, and get my coffee and my lemon pound cake. And I'm very consistent when it comes to Starbucks: lemon pound cake and a mocha, and just park in their parking lot, go in at 6 a.m, grab my shit, and get out. And there's just all kinds of examples like that all over the city. I work in the building I'm in is political and political surveys and a bunch of shit to do with politics, and then the other half of it is part of the university. And then right across the street from us is a barbecue restaurant.
I think in the older areas of the city, not much planning. But if you go to way out on the outskirts, there actually is some decent-ish planning. I think it's just in the old area of Reno, which is what you and I are used to. Yeah, it's a little messy.
If you go out to Legends or Summit, and Summit is this own mystical land for rich people.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Speaking of which, this was kind of funny. I drove up to the Summit because I was like, you know what, I should look at Macs because I'm gonna get a new laptop within the next year. And I pulled up and I got out of the car and I'm just like, gee, do I sure dress exactly like the stereotypical customer that comes here? Polo shirt, nice pants, decent shoes. I look like a media man, and I'm walking into the Apple.
You are missing the beard. That's the only thing that's missing from you as an Apple customer.
It's I look like a media man with a polo shirt, the nice pants, and decent shoes, and I'm walking into the Apple store to consider buying a Mac.
Yeah.
man.
Well, so
Talking about looking the part.
So okay, so for those of you who don't know Reno, there's like, or the Reno Sparks area, like there's regular Reno, and then if you really really far south, like super far south, out past this area, out by this school called Galena, it's just where all the money in Reno is. It's like all the rich people of Reno decided they wanted their own town, so they didn't have to deal with anyone else.
It's the new area of Reno.
Yeah, it's
like
the new,
all this didn't
It's like
exist.
It's like the Beverly Hills of California.
Exactly. That'd be a perfect example.
That area of Reno didn't exist in the late 90s, but then the early 2000s happened and everyone decided to move here, so all of a sudden it just all sprung up within 10 years and then the bubble bursted. So
yeah, well, but like there's this outdoor mall out there called the Summit, and it's just like all these businesses that you associate with being expensive: Apple, Abercrombie, American Eagle, just
Dillard's is also there.
I think Nordstrom is out there also.
Maybe.
Like there's.
They have a Bloomingdale's though.
Good question.
That's when you know.
Ooh, let me look it up.
That's when you know you're in an upscale mall. Just like the mall that's right by my place, they have a freaking Bloomingdale's.
I know that.
That's where it's like Gucci, Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, Kyrie and I walked back. Like we cut through that outdoor mall to get back to your place the night we went to go to the Cheesecake Factory, and first off, that place is beautiful at night.
It really is. I love living here.
Stopped at that fountain, threw a penny in, made a wish. Great time. Enjoyed the beautiful lights. Got back to your house.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt, but no, there's no Bloomingdale's.
Okay. Well,
at the Summit, I could check the Legends though.
Legends is less money, but still money, and I think that's because it's like built near Sparks, so there's still like old houses and shit out there. It's not that far from Victorian Square, which is basically downtown Sparks, which Sparks is like the lesser version of Reno. Sparks was also built on swampland, which that's a story for another time.
Yeah, but where I live, it gets really nice, especially during night.
Oh yeah, no, once again, that mall area was fucking beautiful. And then we got outside of that mall area and walked around the outside. And Kyrie and I passed this alley and we're like, that is a place where you get mugged. Someone has been mugged in that alley.
Nah, not out here, dude. This area right here where I live is considered the second safest area in all of LA County, behind Beverly Hills, which means it's technically more safe than Bel Air, which I still have a hard time believing, but
can someone please do the song?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Does anybody know the full
Born
song?
and raised in the playground. That's the
most of my days. John, do you know the song?
No, it's been a long, long time since I've watched that show.
Damn. By the way, Friday
this show is so good.
Friday, I'm gonna have you and Bremen come over to do a test run of our rap for the panel. Just so you know, you're doing Meatwad's part of the Aqua Teen rap.
Yeah. Dude, I'm not gonna be able to make it on Friday. We'll talk about that later.
No, 4th of July. How about Thursday? Tomorrow's Thursday. Fuck. Okay, well...
Today is Thursday. It's 12:02 a.m.
Oh, okay. Well, fine. We'll do a practice...
Time problems.
Well, we'll get to the panel. We'll get to Game Expo at 10. Our panel's at 12. We'll do a couple practice runs in private.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah, the point is to make fools of ourselves anyway, so... So we got two $50 gift cards, three to five $10 gift cards, a Dragon Age shirt, and a Destiny shirt. Does anybody have anything else that we can give out?
Hugs.
Besides that?
Hugs.
Anthony, do you have any swag from E3 you want to give out to these people?
I'm gonna have to check a bit later.
Oh, also, okay, so that brings me to my next point. Nick is going to tweet this out, people. And our panel is tomorrow from the day this podcast is posted. So you have very limited time if you haven't seen Nick's tweet. Send us questions for the panel. We're going to put them in a hat, pull them out, and then...
Please keep them PG-13.
Yeah, I got approval for R, but I want to be able
That's
to leave
like that's like only the first 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, I got approval for R. I want to be able to leave our door open so people can wander in if they show up late. So I chose to keep us PG-13. Um, Also, I had to fucking argue a lot to get us a third microphone. So, because they expect only like 2 people to be on a panel, not 4.
I'm gonna still assume only 2 microphones.
No, I just got the
this isn't like the people at E3 where if there's a problem they're on it right away. Which, by the way, I should mention this. When we were at E3 on the first day, I mean, Nick and I were literally just standing there. A person tried to get into something, and he said, "Oh, I borrowed my badge." And literally the next day, all of the security guards that were standing at the doors saying "photo ID required," and I was like, "Wow, that was fast."
Yeah.
So this is the email
How are you
I
gonna
got.
go up there and then say you're borrowing someone's badge? That's stupid.
So I actually did just check the email from them. Thank you for participating in Game Expo 2. You've been reserved for the following panel, the Gamer Access Live Gamecast with me. Please let us know if you have any questions. You'll be provided 3 microphones and a projector with HDMI and RGB input.
I did not edit a video yet. Crap.
Well, you don't really need to edit one unless you want to. We don't have to show a video.
I know. Oh, right. It's just a picture. Great.
Yeah.
That means we do. Thankfully,
what's the picture gonna be of?
It's just the Gamecast picture just stuck up there, or the Gamer Access logo.
I think we should throw up the TGA logo.
Yeah, that makes more sense, really.
But
also, it is a live Gamecast, but you know.
Unless you want to do that Metal Gear joke we thought of.
So why is this okay? So the whole thing is PG-13, right?
Yeah, it's up to us at the last minute. I've been given flexibility to change it, but the second the panel starts, it's either R or it's not. So
okay, let's keep it PG-13 though.
Okay, then I will ask Kevin about that scene and see what his thoughts are.
Well, wait, are we actually showing it, or we can figure this out later?
I'm asking you, do you want to show it?
No.
Okay. All right. I will.
I mean, it's funny, but let's just say that our history of panels showing videos doesn't seem to be as entertaining.
Well, not only that, but like
because the audio is also what worries me.
Yeah, the audio was fucked on that last panel. That was a really good video. It's just as I have told people a million times, you can have like the best video ever made, but if it has shitty audio, no one's gonna care.
That is very true.
You know, like that. Like I've been telling people that for years. Like I will get questions like, "You guys make great videos. What would you say you should focus on?" I'm like, "Get your audio right first." You know, like it's not something you generally think about first, but you probably should. You know. Okay, so we did get another comment here. Ready for Nick to be back? What, are we not good enough for you, Marvelous CJ? Was that not good enough for you? You didn't like that last show? Where we introduced John? Are you offended by John's presence as well? You didn't like Kyrie fucking just going crazy about Animal Crossing?
Funny.
That was a pretty good rant.
That was a really funny rant.
Yeah.
If there's anything we want to play at the panel, it should be that. Oh man, I feel evil for she's like, what 3DS game should I get? I'm like, Animal Crossing, not knowing the evil I unleashed upon her. Actually, one of my king, I actually completely knew about the evil I was unleashing because I put it on you also.
Well, except it didn't have as much of an impact on me because I played it for about 40 hours, and that's about it.
Well, she's still playing it.
I know. I stopped playing after a month, and I realized, yeah, I'm gonna stop now. And I'm never gonna turn the game back on again because then everyone in that town is gonna be like, "Where the fuck you been?"
So there's a really cool. So I want to tell you about this exploit that I found with that game, and it is you go to that island. You know, the one the turtle tells you about.
Yep.
And you cut down every tree except 2, one on each side of the island, and you just go back and forth between them catching bugs because the only where the bug can be is on the one tree. So it just keeps reloading between the two. And you end up with
I
unlimited.
see.
Yeah, and you end up with a shit ton of money. There you go. So there's some pro tips for you. It was really Tori plays that game in a weird fashion because she actually speeds up the clock on her DS, and I it's because she wants progress, and I just can't play that game in that fashion. I feel bad about it for some reason.
You feel bad.
It's kind of cheating in a way.
Yeah, it is. Well, it is cheating.
Yeah.
I've been playing Pokemon trying to level a Greninja recently, and then I will have 4 members for my team of fighting. I'm trying to figure out what I want for my last 2 spots. Just breed 2 more Snorlaxes, maybe. Call it Team Fat.
Team Fat.
Well, no, because I have Blaziken's fast, Greninja's fast. Those 2 are really fast, and then my other members of my team right now are Snorlax and God damn it, I'm forgetting. Oh, Gengar. Gengar is kind of fast. So I have a bunch of speed offensive guys for my first 3 spots. So my other 3 spots, I'm thinking about making just the Great Wall of Snorlax. Just 3 Snorlaxes that I train in defense and give them sleep and a bunch of annoying moves and outlast people. But I don't know. It's weird that we haven't got a comment from Solid Kratos on last week's podcast. Weirds me out. Freaking me out, man.
He's gonna comment he knows when we post the podcast though, so never mind. So let's say he'll probably post a comment tomorrow morning or something.
Yeah. All right. Well, that last comment's what's it. So we're gonna be on iTunes. We're on to YouTube. You should go there. Check out all our E3 coverage if you have not. Yes,
I have left the slideshows up there. Probably going to take them down soon. You'll still be able to find it when I take the slideshows down because you can just go to the interviews tab. But I'm keeping it there so it's very easy to find. But I'll probably be taking them down by the time the next podcast goes live. So if you missed anything, be sure to check it out now.
Yeah. Not only that, but if you are in Reno or can drive to Reno, you should come to our panel at the Silver Legacy at noon tomorrow when this is being posted. We're going to have a good time. We're going to give out some free stuff, as I mentioned. All kinds of cool stuff. You'll get to see me. After the panel, I'm doing double duty by promoting TGA and promoting Moondog Computers. So you can have me talk to you about our content and then try to sell you a computer. Which I know you want to deal with that. A gaming computer, too. Oh, God. So, I don't know, anyone have anything else they want to talk about?
No, I think that concludes this week's episode.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
We love you.